And good afternoon. How is everybody out there? It is I, Beck Altar. Welcome to the show. This is going to be my live update or live reaction to the February update of Ashes of Creation's development update. I know I said update a lot. Everything wants to update all of a sudden. So I'm trying to get that done. My apps are updating, everything's updating, which I thought, hey, this is a great time to talk about an update.
We have a cutoff time today. First and foremost, if you've never seen any of our live streams before, Stephen Sharif is our creative director, the almighty
Hello,
Sanda Lord.
friends. Yes.
And with us, of course, is our lead game designer, Jeffrey Bard, aka
Hi,
Jeff Bard.
everybody.
And
See, what the other thing I really liked in their earlier ones, and I know COVID, kind of has changed their format a lot too, right? Because they're not in an office and stuff. But there's nothing stopping them from bringing other developers on, like they used to do before. They even did little vignettes that they haven't done recently, and a lot of those vignettes include like screen captures and stuff like that. So I don't know why they still don't try to do some of those things. I think having one video a month in the modern age isn't good enough. And then often what they do is they'll do a video within this video, and then they'll post that as a separate video in 4K, which is awesome, fantastic. But again, if you want to sell yourself as the most transparent, the most open development in the gaming industry, you kind of got to put your actions to your words. And I don't feel we get that. There's nothing saying that why can't their artists, because mostly what we get is art anyways, why can't their artists do screen caps and just talk about what they're doing and post that up as a video, right? That was always fun, watching them, the fast forward creating the dragons or the monsters, the mobs and stuff. I think that's a lot of fun. I think they should do more of that stuff. I would like to see some more actual gameplay that doesn't require them to use dev cheats, right? I would like to see stuff like that, and we'll kind of get to that.
Crone, your community marketing lead, and I know that we have our lovely Lieutenant Toast in quick. First and foremost is our lustrous cordiality. Oh my God.
I like how this chick here, like if you look at the slant of her head with her arm up, it's like she's going, nope. She kind of got her head's like that attitude thing, which kind of goes back and I kind of noticed that. It's like, yeah, I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, none of this stuff interested me, so I didn't bother. I haven't bought anything beyond the pack that I got for the month that I paid when I got my pack, and I don't even want anything with that. I'm hoping we'll be able to trade or sell or give away some of this stuff. Hello, Miss Pug.
We'll be announcing that new set coming up soon, but those of you who have been hanging
Stay
out with
a
us,
while
you might
and
have seen a little
listen.
teaser of the next set. It's very Roman-esque, if that's more your jam. And then, of course,
the boat looks cool, but
discussions. We just had the ideal classes, which was which of our 64 classes do you think you will spend the most time playing, and what are the key elements to making this your ideal class? And you guys shared a ton of ideas. We've forwarded that along to the development team, and it sparked a lot of design discussion in the chat. I don't know if you got to read some of that, Jeff.
Oh yeah, I did. I'm still actually trying to parse through it all. There's a lot of stuff to kind of unpack there.
Yeah,
Jeff will have to circle back.
Of pages of words. You guys are nuts. But Toast did a great job of kind of summarizing it all for the development team, so they could quickly read the brief overview. She shared that with the community as well.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a comment, like, subscribe.
A little teaser of that, which is hybrid combat. I know that a lot of you have a lot of thoughts on this, so please partake in this discussion so that the design team can ensure that they incorporate your feedback, please. And we announced last month that we were going to be having our new guild discussions. We're doing a lot of guild oriented systems and design and UI elements and also web development stuff. So we really wanted to understand what kind of things that you guys need. The
And
first
again, this
topic
is
was
also
actually what
another one of
tools.
those things that points me to the direction that they are not alpha ready, alpha 1 ready, because they're still working on very fundamental elements of this game. Things that are fundamental, right? These are part of the structures that make up the foundation of the game and of the gameplay. And that's what an alpha 1 is supposed to test, the foundational elements. And if they don't have these foundational elements ready to go to be initially tested, stress tested, for bugs, glitches, stuff like that, we're still in an alpha 0, right? We're still in that pre-alpha stage. We're still in a hardcore development stage of this game. That's okay. They just need to be honest with us and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we thought we would be further beyond, but COVID has slowed things down a lot. We haven't been able to hire the people. We haven't been able to work the way we've wanted to work. And it's delayed us. And I think people would be okay and understand that. How many people have lost their jobs? How many people have had to change how they live because of COVID? Right? I think we can all give them, the room to say, hey, yeah, the art department is doing awesome because the art department wakes up, doesn't have to commute, and just does art. Programming, there's a lot more that has to go into that. You're working with other people, you're engineering different elements together. There's a lot more back and forth. You got to test, right? It's a different process altogether. It takes more time, and when you can't just walk across an aisle or just look across the desk at somebody else, right? It takes more time because you're doing maybe Skype calls or Zoom calls, or you're having to send code to each other. So you're sending it, and then you have to get it, unpack it, run it. Whereas before, you could just walk to that person's computer and just look at it, right? And you can do screen sharing, sure, but sometimes there's other things that you're looking for. There's other elements, right? Like, oh, well, when you did that, I heard your fans go into high mode. So so obviously that juiced up your CPU, right? So there's something taxing going on there. Maybe you don't think about that, right? And these are these elements that you run into, and when you're in a physical environment with people that you cannot do with a Zoom video call. And there's security. Stephen has said multiple times, that there are people out there that would love to get into their game and see what they're doing. So, they are being very cautious. I think they're being overly cautious. I think they're being overly cautious for some other reasons. Like I said, I think in a previous video, I think that they have directly tried to copy the things that Steven wants from other games to the point where it would be plagiarism / copyright. And what their goal is you do a direct copy and then you tweak it, you make it your own, right? You mold it so then it's similar, it's in theme, it's in spirit of what you'd like from a Lineage or an Arcade or something, but you've made it something that's yours, right, as part of the final product. And that's okay. That's basically all we have now, right? The wheel, right? Somebody created the wheel. Well, wheels today are very different from the wheel that was first created. And that's kind of, I think, what they're trying to do here, right? And they're trying to take some of these ideas that other games made and refine them and make them maybe better. But for sure, make them work within the game that they want in spirit and in concept. And I think, you don't want somebody coming around right now saying, "Hey, they've literally copied our code line by line," and that may have happened. I mean, a lot of the developers that are part of the Ashes of Creation team actually worked on the systems in these other games. They worked for Sony and stuff like that. So they may very well have line by line code. but that's not going to be the final product, right? That code isn't going to work 100% for Ashes of Creation. They're going to have to tweak. They're going to intertwine other elements and things like that. That's okay. You look at how Unreal Engine works or Unity and stuff like that. It's people that here's a base set of code, and then you mold that code into the shape and functions that you want it to be. And that's all they're doing. But I think that's probably a bigger part of the worry because it's a very competitive industry. Very competitive industry. And so I can understand if that might be one of their concerns. It might not be. I might be completely off, right? I'm just proposing my theory as to why they are being, I think, excessively tight-lipped about some of this stuff. And I have no problem with that. I just wish they'd just come out and say, hey, listen, we're not there yet. Yeah, that might take some of the wind out of the sails. But if you want to have confidence, if you want your community to have confidence in the product that you're designing and that you're making, I think you have to come out at some point and do that. And not wait until kind of like the last minute, like they do with Apocalypse and stuff like that, where, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're going to have to delay this because. Now, with Apocalypse, yeah, they didn't find out about a lot of that stuff, until they were almost in. And then they made some mistakes trying to monetize shit. But I go, and I use this example a lot. You go back to the July dev update. Margaret's like, yeah, get those NDAs in. We're going to get going here, the end of August, beginning of September. And then what happened, in September, it's like, that hope and whatever's kind of gone. They just kind of said, yeah, we're, because of COVID, office moving stuff. And then we find out, like, was the month after that what actually the problem was is the updated Unreal Engine from 4.24 to 4.26, and it broke stuff. And so that further delayed what they were hoping to do with an Alpha 1 earlier, September, rather than later, the last day of fall, which to me really comes down to that was something that they were legally forced to do. And we look at CD Projekt Red, what's happening in Europe with CD Projekt Red and the promises and stuff like that were made in regards to Cyberpunk and the legal issues they're dealing with, because Europe does have some very strong consumer protections. And I think, they just tried to say, hey, here's pre-alpha. Basically, everybody that had gotten that Kickstarter package or whatever, it fulfilled their legal obligation to give them access to a build of the game that they could call an alpha. And I think that's all that was. That was just a legal, a little bit of a legal wrangling. And because we haven't seen even Ashes of Creation curate videos of players in the game, or some feedback, right? Like, there's nothing saying that these people were probably in a Discord and saying, hey, okay, like, you just had 2 days or 4 days or whatever of this pre-alpha in December. What are your thoughts? Share some of that with us. We would like to know. But rather, there does still seem to be a lot of push towards, obviously monetization for us. And it seems like anything that's bad news or could be considered, bad news, they really do not want out there at all. And I understand that from a business perspective. This is it just feels a lot of fake it till you make it. And the problem is at some point the truth does come out. And I've seen other developers shoot themselves in the foot and just about kill their own projects because they weren't very honest. I mean, Pantheon with Brad Quaid, perfect example. Look at the fiasco that was in its first months. Well, I guess probably the first year or whatever of development, and the shenanigans that happened around then. I was there for it. I mean, I was in the middle of some of that. A lot of really good people got hurt back then. Lost their jobs, did not get paid. Now, I think they eventually did. But for a while there, from what they claimed, they hadn't been fully paid yet. I don't want to see stuff like that happen. Now, I don't think Ash is in the same basket. I'm just saying I've seen similar things happen before where, there's just that honesty isn't quite there, and good games suffer because of that. And this looks like, I'm not going to claim this game's ever going to be a WoW killer, but I think this is different and unique enough that I think what a lot of original classic WoW players loved and enjoyed about WoW, that WoW lost catering far too much to casuals, this game is going to have, right? Because this game is not going to cater to casuals. Steven's pretty much come out and said that. Casuals can still have fun, they can still participate, but this game is going to require a little bit of investment, of time and energy to really enjoy it. This game is built around community, and you can't have a really good community if you're not involved in it. And that's why I'm creating a Kazmar community, so that we will have our own community to build on, and we will find other good, fun, positive communities to become a part of, grow into, or share. And we'll kind of go from there, right, when we get closer to the game. Because like I said, right now, there's just too much toxicity in the AoC community. And I think a lot of that might have to be with the fact that, you have people that have been around for a very long time, and the risk and want of white knighting is very high. And white knights often do more harm than good, unfortunately, because these are people that have a lot of passion, and they have a lot of energy in their passion. That needs to be molded. It needs to be directed, and that's definitely one thing that is missing in the AoC community. And I think it's because they're focused so much on building and developing this game that there hasn't been a lot of attention paid to the community anymore, and that attention's been redirected.
They're most helpful to you for recruitment.
Sorry, I know that was a long tangent.
And outside of game, and
expect there to be a few,
because a lot of great feedback. I think Toast is
I've been biting my tongue a lot.
All of that, but I read through some of it, and some of the web stuff we're already planning. So I was really excited to see that was stuff that you guys actually wanted as well. Because I know I want it as a guild leader, but it's always nice to hear that the rest of the community is interested in those things too. Our next topic is going to be about guild halls. I know that a lot of people have feelings about these things.
Guild halls.
How they should
definitely need guild halls.
And what kind of purpose they should have, or how big they should be, things like that. So definitely give us all of the feedback that you have. And I think the last thing I have is a reminder of our playtest schedule. And I know Stephen will talk a little bit more about this too.
Yeah, February. So the February 19th through 22nd has just been done. So we have another one coming up here in a couple of weeks. And again, these are Alpha 1 previews. I think, honestly, this literally comes through as them meeting more of a legal obligation more than anything else. Because, again, we have heard and seen absolutely nothing from the first Alpha 1 preview. We got nothing in this update from the second pre-test. I'm thinking we're not going to see anything in the March development update either. I know they're all under NDA, but there's nothing stopping Steven or Margaret from being in the game and recording some footage with all of the other players. And yeah, show us all the glitches and all the bugs and stuff like that. I mean, that's what we want to see. That's what we want to know about. That, as much as they might think it's not going to instill confidence in the greater part of the community, it will. Right? We know that this game is still in development. And yes, we know that there are idiots out there who are going to look at footage and just want to crap all over it. Okay? We know. And you know what? A lot of those people are going to be people that have probably not invested anything into this game. They have no interest in this game, other than they just want to be here just to cause trouble, to troll, to do whatever. Those people, they exist too. They're all over Twitter.
But right now, our plan is for March 19th through the 26th to be the next 1 week test, but we'll talk a little bit about that later because we just had a play test and we have a lot of things that we're incorporating and changing.
Now, here's the one question. Here's the one question I have. It says all Alpha 1 testers and official content creators. Well, they have no official content creator program right now. So that's going to probably stir up a little bit of heat. Now, I'm not saying I should be an official content creator. Not at all. I will say this, though, right? One lucky person who comments to this video on YouTube, I will send them one of the masks that I have. I will mail you out one of the masks wherever you are in the world. And I have them, I don't know, they're in a box down here somewhere. But one of the face masks that I have, so it has the logo, their Phoenix logo. It says Ashes of Creation, and then on the side it has. Well, actually, I can probably show you. But I will send one mask to some lucky commenter to this video, and that'll be comments. You'll have until, I don't know, let's give it the end of March. I'll give you a month. We'll give it a month for people to comment on the video, and somebody will get a mask. So I'll mail it to them
to incorporate those changes.
Because I'm the only one giving away Ashes merch right now that I'm aware of. I have not seen anybody else doing it.
Absolutely. Thank you for those updates. So things are going very well with our latest hiring round at the studio. As we mentioned, there's about 35 new positions, of which since January, I believe we have filled 8 or 9 of them.
And some of this video,
we have a couple more that have just.
So also as well, some of this video may not be included in the YouTube video. I think what I'm going to do is on my Subscribe Star, I will link the full unedited video. But I think there are parts of this video that I will probably, if you didn't watch it live, you'll have to become a Subscribe Star or be a subscriber on my Twitch channel, and I'll have a link in my subscribers only area as well. People will be able to access the full video just for length. So
completed their offer letter, so we're very excited to see the team grow per usual. Always great having fresh new faces with incredible talents and backgrounds. We only hire the best at Intrepid, and it's awesome to see their work, their blood flow into the project. Always love that.
Not literal blood.
I know, not literal blood. Yeah, that's true.
Well, Jeff's cam needs to be pointed down a little bit more. His whole face is covered by the lower third.
Blood sacrifice.
The altar needs feeding.
They know our secrets. The corruption is real.
Altar that you guys found with like the sandal shrine?
The blood magic. No. So that's all going well.
Feel free to comment in chat as well if you're watching this live.
In the studio.
Otherwise, please like and subscribe if you're watching on
that is our next
YouTube or anywhere else.
Date. Obviously, that's dependent
on
how
claim to be
things,
right.
Are going.
I'm
with
just
COVID
giving my opinions.
And, judging by recent events, things are looking a little bit better. Vaccine rollout's good. So hopefully we can maintain that target date. It's always best, in my opinion, to get back into a collaborative environment where
Texas and Mississippi are repealing mask mandates. Texas is opening up completely as of next Wednesday.
I really want the potlucks and the magic, Friday night magic. I know.
I miss
just
it
people.
all.
It's so sad.
People. It's different when you're brainstorming like in a creative space online. There's just not the same energy that you have when you're like all together bouncing off of each other.
For sure.
It's just very different.
Sounds
also,
very sweaty to be
in
bouncing
year
off
of
each other.
isolation, I've managed to construct a few really fun commander decks that I want to try out and see how they.
Not approving of this.
Are they legal?
No, I don't know. I think. Oh, that's a good question. I think I messed up a couple times in our Commander games. I didn't know that things weren't allowed. But
Oh, that was banned? I didn't
I
know.
didn't know it was banned. I should take my 5 copies out. Oh, I have 5? My bad.
David,
No, I'm
you're
just
such
kidding.
a little cheater.
I'm just joking.
You aren't, though.
Apparently,
But
that's
yeah, no, things are
par
things
for
are
the
going very
course
well
with
for the
Steven.
studio.
I've
Obviously,
read a
we
few
just came
articles
off of
that
our last
he's
test.
gotten into some trouble
we
in
did
some
hit
other
a few
games from
setbacks in those
cheating.
tests, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Kind of explain, what that was. Obviously, the purpose of testing is to hit setbacks because we want to find them out
But,
earlier rather than later, and it gives us an opportunity.
The
to
game
deep
lets you
dive and,
do it. Is it
pull
really
up
an
those metrics and
exploit?
data. But yeah, I
Now,
think
there's a
that's the
gray area
gist of
there.
The studio update. Am I missing anything?
I don't think so. It's mainly been hiring. Like that's kind of been our big ticket.
Absolutely.
I think the corruption
there's
system's going to have a
of
lot of that. A
positions
lot
to
of.
hire for.
That's not intended.
I'm excited. My team's growing. We're a little baby team. We're growing. It's exciting.
Yeah, we did have a fun.
Oh
yeah, I was gonna say no. I was just gonna segue into the fun update that maybe some people noticed this morning.
Yeah.
If you want to take
So
it.
speaking of that, not only is my team, we're getting like a junior community manager, some more CS support, and a social media manager.
Social media.
We're also we've been working with Valor, which you guys have heard already.
Oh yeah, I did
And,
post to Twitter I was
they
doing
have
this.
been doing some amazing
Hopefully
stuff
Pug
with their
goes on
website.
that. She's my
They have.
social
In fact,
media
just
assistant.
a quick shout out. So those
Thank
of
you
you
very
out there
much,
who
Pug,
might
for
be
helping
in
with that.
the,
I appreciate it.
who might
You've been doing a fine job
in the enterprise industry and business and need technical support and or web development support, I would give a major shout out to the Valor team, Valor Software. They're located primarily, I believe, in Ukraine. They have a great dedicated team of professionals who we have had an absolute pleasure working with to help support our platform
Heard that
needs.
name before.
And they have assisted us in creating the new website and having that roll out this morning. And Margaret's going to get into that a little bit. But they've done a great job. So big shout out to Valor team for sure. Yeah. They're doing a great job.
It has been great working with them. They would take my crazy feedback. I'm like really nitpicky, but they just immediately fix it and make changes. And I really appreciate that. And they're really getting to know the
I need to work on my business website
as well for like our branding. And they're doing a great job of
looks like something out of the 90s.
The changes that they make.
Well,
so
early 2000s maybe.
And obviously you can go over to our website. I'm not going to click on everything here because I don't want you to see all the stuff, but this is kind of like the default site. We put up a little.
It does look nice.
Here so that
their new website
more clear what testing phase we're in.
Definitely looks nice.
How you can register. A lot of this stuff too is just the main homepage that we're doing.
Right.
You can go to any of the
and just so you guys are aware, obviously, we have a lot,
and it's a lot faster than it used to be
on the plate. That we
their new website's a lot faster.
That it's not just quality of life
much better.
features, but also some pretty in-depth, fun integrations to the game as well.
Yeah.
This first rollout is really more front-facing, right? It doesn't have those deeper features that we're going to be incorporating with our designs, but it gives an opportunity for us to have a soft launch essentially of this more marketing-oriented front page of the website, kind of establishing what that design is going to look like. It lets us work out the bugs and whatnot and have you guys a part of that process a little bit, but you'll see Margaret's going to probably be preparing in the next coming weeks a detailed article on kind of what our roadmap looks like for the website and the features that are going to be updated with it, and I'm sure that's going to get you guys excited because I think we're going to go a little bit beyond the norm of what MMORPGs and or even just game studios in particular offer through their web presence.
Yeah, obviously this has been a huge passion project for me personally. Ever since I started.
What I'm hoping for is
I wanted a website.
I'm really hoping for some integrated chat through an app so that even though we're not in a game, we can still chat to our guildies. I'm hoping guild and account stuff you'll be able to do through your cell phone. WoW does a really good job of a lot of that stuff. I think World of Warcraft has done, or Blizzard has done a fine job, even though I'm not a fan of them anymore. They have done a fine job, I think, with a lot of the things that you can do with their apps. Exactly, like the WoW Armory app. And Code, you're welcome to join the chat too. this is welcome to be a conversation for to be had here. But I guess with the stream delay. But so there's a lot of things you can do with apps that I really hope that they take advantage of, because with the nature of this game and it being so community orientated, I think that's going to be necessary. I think if you have a tavern or if you have a shop, I would like to think that you'd be able to have some control over your shop through an app, right? So that you can add more items, increase prices, lower prices, stuff like that, kind of on the fly. Because if you're working 8 to 12 hours, you're not always going to be there in the game to participate with things. And I think having some of that access it keeps you tied into the game. It definitely keeps you tied into your community a lot more. But it's going to keep bringing you back, right? So even as a casual player, you can still participate in a guild because you have access to a chat. You can still work on your character. You can still look at stats. You can still look at what can you craft, not craft. You can look at recipes. You can maybe set yourself some notes, like set yourself a task list, right? You have your guild calendar for guild events, so that's on there. Really, I mean, there's a lot of potential, and I think touching on the very basics of what you could do with a really well done app system. But I think from a guild perspective, there is a lot of power that you can have. And I think if again, having just the ability to just talk to people who are in game or to all of your other guildies through an app, so you're not having to, you kind of take Discord out of the equation, I guess, in that regard. But if you're in game, right, and people are chatting in game, then you get to still participate in that conversation, and people aren't having to alt tab in and out of Discord and stuff like that all the time, which can break the immersion. It really breaks up the fun. I think it would be kind of fun to maybe you could even have a system in place where maybe there's an observe, right? You could observe raids, but only from, say, the app, right? So now you can watch as a ghost or from the eyes of one of the characters how the raid is progressing, right? That would be really neat and cool too. And I don't see why you couldn't do something like that.
So happy tears from
Doggos.
My perspective, but I don't want it just to be like a site that's there. I want it also to have some functionality. Like Stephen was saying, we'll talk a little bit more.
So I hope there's a really good app integration.
We're also going to have a lot of information on the site. Right now, I know that it doesn't have a lot. We actually have some segments that have game information, lore. We'll have classes. We'll have race details and all of those things. And also there will be phases of those pages too. So
let's go to the wiki.
More in depth with our classes, we'll have more of those details.
I got to say, the Ashes wiki is phenomenal. It is a great resource.
In depth.
Right.
Like, for instance, the races. Right now, maybe it'll just be an icon with a little blurb, but later down the line...
I want to see what orcs look like in-game. I want to see some Tolnar.
Genders and more details. And then later down the line after
again,
that, it might be
a couple more things that
the character around.
This isn't an Alpha 1 ready game yet, because you're still missing
create a character, right?
two primary races.
To, slowly progress with it. And
My God.
On
no,
the guild, I know the Valor peeps are crazy. They have some amazing ideas too. And on the guild front, I know that that's kind of like the main structure of MMOs, right? Like that's how we communicate. That's how we keep in touch. I think a lot of what functionality we want to have there, and I think you guys have said a lot of these things in that feedback thread that you gave us, which a lot of help. So thank you. Is providing you ways to recruit new people, having a page where you can schedule events, show which types of classes you're looking for, what type of guild you are, being able to have that public or private, that type of thing, so that you can keep in touch with your homies, even on the webpage, even if you're like not necessarily at your PC, right? You can do it on your mobile phone. So there's a lot of functionality that we do want to incorporate.
Good. I like the sound of that.
That is
very positive.
I'm very
I like that.
We hope that you all are liking it.
Yeah,
it's looking so good.
It is looking good.
The shop is getting an update. I know there was a lot of question about that. The shop is getting an update. It will be much better. You'll be able to see all the icons and the images of the items and things like that. And then also the account page and your profile page is going to have some changes. I know one of the main things that people want to know is, for instance, their referrals. There's going to be a lot more information there for you for your referrals. You'll be able to like select a date, time frame, and stuff like that, so you can see details.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot more stuff coming down the line. We understand that those are things that you guys want.
They have none of the sea stuff either. Sailing and ship mechanics. True. Yep. True.
Speaking of things that people want,
those are
gameplay. So
those were the sea stuff was. See, here's, I guess the argument can be made that for the Kickstarter, the ships, the Tulnar, they were stretch goals. And so because they're stretch goals, we shouldn't maybe necessarily expect them to happen at launch, right? They could conceivably say, hey, you know what? You're going to get the core 4 races. The Tulnar will come in a future DLC. The ships will come in a future DLC. And, that'll be a couple of months down the road. Right now, we're going to focus on the core primary parts of the game. And they could even say, hey, let's be honest, it's going to take you a while to really get into the ships anyways. You're going to have to build up a node, right, to, a certain rank before you get a harbor or a dock. You're going to have, these other conditions that might have to be met for certain ship types. So they could conceivably say like that may be why we're going to delay these a little bit. And again, I wouldn't necessarily be upset by that. Again, stretch goals are things that are often happen later on. I mean, their goals and their plans are based on the core mechanics that they want to deal with. Now, of course, a Kickstarter was how many years ago, and they are already 2-3 years past the delivery date of what they said on Kickstarter. That is, to be honest, par for the course. There's not a whole lot of stuff that I've seen that I've participated in Kickstarter that actually showed up on time. Cody says, and I'm sure only certain nodes will have access to seafaring capabilities. Yeah, no, exactly. Now, it's not to say you can't make little rafts and stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that I think would be cool. I would hope something like that we can see. I mean, I look at Valheim. They do boats right. Like, that game does seafaring right. I would love to see an even one up bigger ship. But damn, they make it look pretty. They make it fun. It's interesting, engaging. I love sailing in Valheim, so I hope they kind of take take their time and put in some serious development into the seafaring side of things. So, like I said, if that's something that they say, hey, we're going to delay this part of the game for a while. Again, I'm okay with that. Build a good, strong, firm foundation first. Tulnar, because they are a playable race, I can understand how you're going to want to have them at launch. We have seen nothing of Tulnar. We've at least seen some artist renderings of orcs. But they really seem to be focused primarily on, the dwarves and humans and elves are kind of the same, so they can kind of wear the same gear. But yeah, their art department really seems to be fleshing out one or two races at a time, and the two cultures for those races. So again, when you think about an Alpha 1, you would expect to have the bare minimum of all your races and cultures. You may not have the art style fleshed out for all of them. You may not have the gear all fleshed out for all of them, but you're going to want to have at least, your general skins, so that they're represented in the game that way. for an Alpha 1, just so you can see the hitboxes and the differences and stuff like that. And again, we've seen nothing of Tolnar. Now, I know they want to make that a giant reveal. I think a lot of why we haven't seen Tolnar is because there is this big expectation behind what they are. And I'm sure that's part of the sales and marketing aspect of this. I don't think they're really going to show us Tolnar until they're maybe closer to a beta. That'll be their hype, right? Because the hype that Lazy Peon created back in June last year, they really did little to promote and keep that going. And I complained about that quite a bit. It's like, why aren't they doing things? And I think the reason is because they know that they can't sustain a hype train for 2 years because they are really far behind in development from what the impression they give us is. So my expectation is the Tolnar will be one of those things that they are going to have a big to-do with, a big release. Same with the Orcs, honestly. I think the Orcs, because they are different and they want their Orcs to be different from WoW Orcs and stuff, that's why we're getting glimpses. And I think that's just a wet palettes. But I think probably when they come out with an Orc model, an actual in-game finished model, of NPC orcs anyways, that's probably going to be a little bit of a hype. And I expect they'll probably do something with that as part of like an Alpha 2 launch or something. Like, hey, part of Alpha 2, here's orcs, right? And then, oh, beta, here's Tolnar, right? And then from a sales and marketing perspective, that would make sense, right? Like, and I know there's a lot of people out there who want to know more about the orcs and stuff like that. And they could be doing that, right? Because really, a model isn't going to be a whole lot different from another model. That's why dwarves are the smallest, so you got the dwarves done, or mostly created. Humans and elves are almost identical in physique for the most part. Your orcs are going to be a little bigger than I would expect humans and elves. And the Tolnar, well, there's just the variety of what your character can have, from, I guess, reptilian to mammalian features, tails, no tails, stuff like that. That I can honestly see taking a lot of time, is how do you balance all of these things? Tolinar could be the size of dwarves, it could be the size of orcs, and how do you compensate hitboxes and stuff for that? So that I can understand. And like I said, from a sales and marketing perspective, it would make sense that maybe you'd showcase the Tolnar leading into your betas, right? Because again, it's mostly skins by that point. It's not really going to affect the overall play of the game. Jeez, it's an hour long. We're only 15 minutes into the video. Core Code says, and I'm sure only certain nodes will. Oh yeah, I already read that one. So.
let's transition to that, which is first. Let's talk about the tests that just happened. Let's talk about.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we could talk. Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Because I think that's a good preface for what.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me give just a little update.
So I guess if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be an extended version of this. Available to my subscribers,
and we did hit some snags,
and
that's
subscribe stars,
in my opinion. And right now, this week, we have spent the majority of this week countless hours deep diving into those snags and deploying fixes for them. We will likely be having some additional spot testing with our ND8 Alpha 1 testers, probably starting early next week, I'm going to imagine, in order to address some of those issues. As a result, I know that I had mentioned I would give an update on the reopening of Alpha 1 sales. At this moment in time, I cannot commit to reopening Alpha 1 sales, so we're going to wait to see if we can get over those issues in a relatively short period of time, and then I will come back and give you guys an update on that front. Mainly to speak a little bit about what we experienced.
So it sounds like their servers aren't quite
to push as much as possible
up to
getting higher concurrencies on the servers.
Yeah.
And with that, we do some changes on the networking side in order to facilitate those goals. And it's a step-by-step process where we make changes, we collect data, we analyze the data, we deploy fixes, we make additional changes. This is what the iteration process looks like, at least from a technical perspective, and how we want to accommodate.
So they're not quite up to 10,000 people on a server at the same time.
I can't tell you guys enough how important it is that we have testers who are participating, live testers outside of our simulated player testing that we obviously do internally. But having live testers who are capable of jumping in and spot testing on that front really provides us with data that is just immeasurable.
It's real data too,
yes.
and it really helps us out.
Absolutely. So what I will tell you guys is this: obviously I've said this many times in the past. Our goal is creating the best possible MMORPG.
There was orange banana peel.
That process, it is a process, and sometimes
exactly, which is normal in their phase of production.
And we'll keep you guys updated. That's the whole purpose.
Well, like I said, they're working on an engine that wasn't made for an MMO, right? So there's a lot of stuff they have to work on there.
The community team does a great job with the articles.
What's new?
And
just
posting on social media to keep you guys updated as well.
Doing my reaction.
We will keep you abreast of what the progress looks like from those spot tests, and if there's additional news to come for Alpha 1 participation in the future, we will be we'll bringing that to you as quickly as possible. We can talk a little bit more about the test after the gameplay, I think, but yeah, generally, I mean, things are going very well from the development side. These types of things, just need to get worked out, these little kinks.
When you said the test was last weekend, I thought you were wrong, and I had to open up my calendar and look.
Like a month ago.
And I was like, oh, wow, it was just a week ago.
Yeah, this month has gone by. Like, I feel like we just had our live stream. So,
well, February is a shorter month.
Hard at work. So we hope that you all appreciate all of that. Some of it's not visible too yet, right?
Yeah. I've always, one of my favorite quotes is, I've always said it in the past, is that patience, and I saw somebody just say it in the chat, but patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. That is a motto to live by, especially when it comes to, I think, software development, like games and games of our size. But I know you guys have been,
and that's why I keep saying they need to come out and actually be a little more honest with us and say, listen,
such a great thing to,
we need more.
When you're a developer and you're working on a project, and
we're further behind than many of you think we are.
Giving you support and wanting things to get done right, and not another rush job, so to speak. That
they kind of that's kind of what he's saying right now.
And it gives us confidence as developers to continue working hard. And
he's kind of saying that, but they don't come out and actually say it.
I cannot express that enough. Obviously, all of the support that.
But again, if you read between the lines.
I see sometimes 100%. People in our chat, like our internal chats, like sharing or
they are a lot further behind in development than I think a lot of people think that they are.
By, like, how kind you guys are. And obviously development for MMOs is very different. It's a much longer haul. So we appreciate you all being here and joining our journey.
For sure.
And we have a lot of systems and stuff to implement, so it's going to take a little bit of time. So are we cool with doing the video, or do you want to talk a little bit about?
I think so.
So I would say that's the closest.
Let me talk a little bit about the video. I'm sorry. So
I would say that is the closest I have heard any of them come to saying that we are not anywhere near where we hoped we would be in our development cycle. Basically, they just spent 2.5 minutes, just basically saying, be patient, long development, big game. So they're using all of these words to really just say, we need more time and we're going to need a lot of it. And I think that's what they just really need to say, is, hey, listen, we're not there yet. We're working on it, but we're not there yet. I know you guys are thinking, Alpha 1, Alpha 2 right away, but honestly, we're not there. Just don't come out and say this fall, okay? So one thing that they should just not say, Alpha 1 this fall. But I think the Alpha 1, the pre-alphas that people are playing right now, I don't think are anything near an Alpha 1. I think the Alpha 1 that they want to do here in April for the month long, I don't think that's an Alpha 1. They're saying it's an Alpha 1. I don't think it is. I don't think it's any. I think it's still an Alpha 0. I think they're still in that pre-stage. I think, at just hearing and reading, again, I think they are a year away from an honest Alpha 1 at minimum, maybe 2 years. I think this game definitely has a minimum 2 years before it sees a beta. and it's probably three to 4 years before release. And I think a lot of that will have to do with how long can California carry on its COVID BS, because I think that's what a lot of it is. It's just COVID crap, and I think that's having a I think that has its own delay in what's happening in their own development.
I'll give you just a real quick typical disclaimer.
Let's see. Corco, they must have lost some people, though. I get the feeling they had enough people leave to hurt them in release times by a lot. Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't heard anything about them losing staff, but I mean, like to any great degree. I mean, Steven has admitted in the past development videos that, yeah, people have come and left. They do have people that are headhunting his people. Now, Steven's also claimed, though, that he's paying industry competitive wages or better, which would then tell me it may be a culture a culture issue. What's the culture like at Intrepid Studios? Because if you're getting paid industry standard or better, then you're making good money. And why would you leave? Unless you're getting, unless you're going somewhere with a better culture, or something like that. It could be workload. Obviously, if you're getting paid really well, expectations go up, right? I have really high expectations of people who work for me. If I'm paying people, sometimes I think my expectations are probably maybe not fully reasonable, because people aren't me, and my work ethic is different from other people. And I don't put my work ethic necessarily into my streaming, because this is where I'm supposed to have fun and not stress about stuff. So,
this is the Alpha 1 preview client, so you are
in a lot of shit for
Good, I'm glad.
Unbelievable. All right, I think we can play it. We can play it.
So again, this kind of comes back to the point I made earlier about they've had 2 pre-alphas with, I'm guessing, a couple thousand people. Show us some footage of that, right? That's what we want to see. I don't really care to watch these guys run around showing me whatever they want. I know the world is pretty. I've seen the world a lot. It's very pretty. I appreciate that. I love the look of the world. It looks fantastic. But I want to see other people in this game, right? I want to see how players are playing this game. How are other people interacting with the world, with the environment? Why can't we get that kind of footage, right? Why can't we have Steven running around in a node and just following other people, seeing what other people are doing, and how are they doing things? That I think is probably one of the most lacking things when it comes to, again, they say they're so transparent and they're so open. Okay, well then I know those people are under NDA, so they can't show anything. And I understand that we're going to get curated content, so most of the bugs we're not going to see. I get that, but I still want to see the community in this game. You've had 2 weekends now. You have 8 days. Show it. I don't understand why you can't put together 10 or 15 minutes of people running around, right? 5 minutes over here, 5 minutes over there, 2 or 3 minutes over here. So I have only watched from the duel onward of this update. I have not seen this initial stuff. And so I'll kind of tell you when I've kind of seen what we see.
Oh, by the way,
we'll see you on the flip side in about 35 minutes.
I guess that's a long time.
Everybody, and welcome to another.
We're still on Alpha Island
with your regularly scheduled 4K recording in Ashes of Creation's Alpha area. I am joined today by 3 amazing.
Is this actual Alpha area or is this Alpha Island still?
Mr. Autumn Puri, is it Puri?
It's Pyre.
Pyre.
Don't worry, everyone gets it wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, this is actually Mr. Adam Pippich.
The water still looks good.
An engineer.
Like graphically, this game is really Well
Thank
done.
you. It's good to be back. It's always fun to do these with you. So
I want to
Don't have really anything to
show off, 'cause
comment
I know a lot of people had some
too much. I mean,
commentary. Excuse me. Sorry.
there's only so much you can say about the
Had some
environment.
commentary
My
about
opinion
the,
on that hasn't
underwater
changed at all.
blurriness, and we did get some changes for that. So why don't we swim down a little bit with our what are these scale runners? See, take a look at that difference. Ooh, look at that.
It's not as
That's
blurry.
not too bad. Now it's a little bit clearer. You can
Yeah.
actually see what's going on.
It's a little better, yeah, because it was
Look at
really,
short
really
this one,
blurry
too.
before. So that looks a lot better.
To the, what is that? The east? I always get them confused.
Yeah, you can definitely see more detail underwater. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's also really dark.
Yeah, this looks much better.
Yeah, just try to not drown.
This looks
I don't
much
think-
better with the.
Now, how do you know if you're
I'm
drowning or
actually
not?
getting a breathing tick right now, so I'm good. I'm like immortal or something. I live in the water.
Oh,
I
now he's got a crab after him.
I have to kill these things. You're just dragging a whole bunch.
It's okay, I can handle it.
All right, let's see what you got. Those crabs have a defensive buff. That's pretty strong.
Doing a lot of XP there. 1100 XP. Wow.
Saves the big damage ability after they're all dead. All right. Good job, Alex.
That's a light
Well done.
shot. What are you
Oh,
talking
okay.
I saved you,
about?
Slurpee.
Celebration. That's a celebration. The victory.
All right, where are we headed? So, guys, as we probably already mentioned on the stream, who knows, it is currently 11:38 p.m. Thursday, February 25th. Obviously, this is going to be unedited footage as usual, but we are fresh off of some testing that was that happened this last weekend. We did encounter some setbacks, but that's okay. That's the purpose of testing, and you guys have been hard at work trying to figure out those issues. Tell us a little bit about kind of how we dive into those issues, Slurpee.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, first of all, we had to do a lot of networking and CPU profiling while the servers were up.
Character
during
models
the,
are looking good.
High load.
all
We
the
basically
outfits.
diagnosed the issues with networking. We diagnosed issues with just the world itself. Diagnosed
Steven looks
issues
like
with
Ilhan
NPCs
Omar.
that we're having problem with. Yeah, we've got a lot of good data, and we are hard at work trying to fix all the issues currently.
Yeah,
having.
and the other thing is when we run those profiles, it even further exacerbates the server's performance. So a lot of players were in there, and while we're collecting that very useful data that you guys use, obviously, to diagnose what's going on, they're just getting rubber banded and thrown all over the place. It's pretty cool to actually watch, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Look at Trad over there doing some cleric stuff.
Showing off.
That looks
You know
very
what
nice.
we should do like some you know, we should show off another thing, is the changes to the fireball. I can do that right now with this Tidebreaker. So
Yeah, we got a mage, right?
Still
yeah,
looks like they're
a
using
lot
World of
you guys out
Warcraft
there in
icons.
the world of the internets, in our glorious community.
Some of those icons
gave
look
us
very
some
much
great
like World of
feedback
Warcraft
about
still.
both the fireball animation as well as kind of its rooted nature. And actually, Trad is part of helping to overhaul some of the changes on combat, which you guys will likely be seeing later when the NDA lifts on the alpha testing. But I could probably showcase the changes right now on this fireball. Hold on, let me see.
Definitely have to
Trad, you
change
can talk a little bit about it.
the,
Sure.
the
Yeah.
graphics
so
on
the
that a
general
little bit, I
approach
think.
that we're kind of taking based on a lot of feedback and just also just good combat design in general.
Yeah, that wasn't anywhere near
philosophies
him.
is that we want to give more agency in the hands of the player, and the antithesis of that is, locking the player down for really long amounts of time. The sort of concept behind that is like you could make an animation effects as glorious looking as possible, but if it's taking away control of the player, none of that really matters. Especially the 100th or 1000th time you're using the spell, you're tired of that happening at you don't feel powerful, you feel the opposite of powerful.
For sure.
And so we're trying to give a lot of control back to the player while they're using these abilities, so they can still control their movements. They can they can react simultaneously while they're taking actions, and we just want to get overall more of a fluid flow, I guess, of combat. And that's
I mean,
kind of the general
the spells and everything, they do
design
look
philosophy
really
we're
nice.
using to approach,
And
the
they've
overall.
definitely toned down
Yeah,
the
for
color,
sure.
like the
I've
brightness
been
a little bit, which is
watching
nice.
the
It's not as
combat strike team
overpowering.
kind of implement some of these changes, and it's definitely, I think, looking good. I think players are going to be pleasantly surprised with some of the stuff. Now, obviously, all of you out there who are waiting to see all of these changes, remember that these
That's a
are
lot of
iterative
XP, though.
changes, and they're kind of rolled out in different phases. So you're going to see kind of the early. I'll seek him at the portal. Is this going to send me back to the portal? I don't know if I want to press this.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't send you back.
Headmaster Varus. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. I got a little quest here.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
kind of
it
neat.
doesn't
You get
do
a
that.
little
Like, we don't
spell
like
type
here.
effect when you collect a
Let's see what's up over here.
a
There's
quest.
like some tents and stuff. Adam, you're helping out with the combat revamp too. You're doing a lot of the back end work for that, right?
Yep. You know, it's really important that the designers have the tools necessary
Again,
to make impactful
great looking
combat
game.
and just you know, unleash their full creativity.
I know
So
Corcode had some
I'm really
comments
excited to be able to work on that and you know, give the
about
designers what they
some
need
of it
to
when we
to
were
really
watching
shine and
before.
make some really cool combat. So yeah, it's been really fun working with
But
Trad
I'm
and,
not going to
and
speak
the
for
rest
him.
of the design team.
Behind every designer, they say, is a skillful, talented engineer.
Oh, thank you.
Giving them the tools they need.
You should talk to
Flattered.
Sir
Somebody
Jensen.
travels with all his
Why?
books.
What's Sir Jensen have? What does this guy? How did he get this bookcase? Whoa! What is that?
That's my compass.
Oh, I want
Wait,
that.
what?
Left click on this net right here.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
I left
And you
click
can
on
attack
it.
it. Yeah, you can attack it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a spider.
And
Wow.
Well
yeah, good
done.
riveting fight.
Spider.
lots
That
of
was
XP.
riveting.
Those are giant ass spiders, man. Came out of that little web.
Let's bring some more in.
Their spiders look really
Oh, by the
creepy
way,
though.
guys, you'll notice there's no grass over here, and that's a bug. The grass is gone at the moment, but don't pay no mind to the grass.
It's just a well-mowed lawn.
Yeah. We released the goats everywhere. They eaten the grass.
Yeah, wasn't it Bucky that said he had the lawnmower, took the lawnmower to the whole map? That's all that happened.
Oh, really? What do I do with these plants?
You just talk to 3 plants right here and 1 right here by this mushroom.
Where did they blow away to?
You're gonna have to open the map, and if you highlight
That
the
table
quest, it'll
keeps
show
moving.
you
That's
where
an
the
interesting
location.
little bug.
No.
All 10 pages.
I don't see.
So
You have to select
basically,
the
it's
missing block.
Stranglethorn Vale.
On the map.
You gotta collect
a draft
pages.
in progress.
Oh, you have to turn in. You have to confess that you lost all his pages, all his life
Oh,
work.
no, I am
Yeah,
so
you have to
sorry,
come clean.
Antoine.
Steven was trying to hide it from Antoine.
He said, "Oh no, another mistake." He's ready to hear this. This mistake is mine this time, my friend. Well, a bird attacked and took your manuscripts. Oh wow, he didn't. This is not.
Well,
his
I suppose they
work,
were
he just said it was
garbage anyway.
Yeah, garbage is his life's work.
Oh, sad. Wait, so where are these now?
It's okay, you can press M.
Yeah, missing
X.
work. Oh, they've blown everywhere all over the shoreline. What? I mean, I'm not gonna go help him find that. That's his job.
So, I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you feel
Let's go
about
grind
having
this.
all of
Yeah,
your
let's
quest
go. We
stuff
should
kind
duel.
of,
All right.
you know,
Alright,
shown to
duel
you
right
like
down
that
If we're gonna
versus
do
you
it,
have
we're
to
gonna
find
set
it
the house
yourself
to
through
Yeah,
exploration?
a
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's
Because if
do it,
these
let's do it.
pages
Wait, let's
flew away on their own,
Free KO.
you
Let's
would
get on
not
the
know
beach.
where
Let's
they
get
are.
on the
You'd
beach.
have to explore
Alright,
to
let's
find
make
them
2
all.
parties then.
Okay. Wait, I get the cleric.
So I'm not sure I'm a fan of
Alright,
Well,
focus
what
on
if you
like-
can?
I mean,
we
just
should
telling
we
you.
should equal out the duel.
where everything
So-
is.
Just grab the
Yeah,
clip.
I don't know.
I mean, you can take the cleric. Alex
I mean,
and
some
are,
things
like,
you could
top
show,
tier
right? Like
PvPers.
go,
Wait, what
like
are your
you have to
guys'
go here and
classes?
talk to this person
If,
to.
if the mage
advance the
fireball
quest,
damage
or,
is still in there
you know,
from like before my
if
changes,
if
it's
your
going to just destroy
farm
it.
is
I'm
particularly
telling you,
being
Onslaught
raided
is
by a
super
certain
OP,
type of
okay?
animal, then you would know where the location of the
People
farm
also
kind of
do
deal.
Onslaught.
But otherwise,
think
I
it's
kind of like
sleeper
the idea
because
that you
the
have to
animals are just
explore to find
Knock
these
you down,
things
and it's just
yourself.
OP.
Wait, can I just show off this rhinoceros?
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
looks pretty good.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh
Actually.
wow, very pretty mount.
Or even just showing a
at
general
how it
area
runs.
circle. Well, exactly.
No, wait,
I mean, I didn't think you could
sprint so you can see
guess
how much faster it is. Get ready.
that if you lost the pages in that
Everybody.
area on the map, then those
That is
pages are
one
going to be in that
powerful
area
rhino.
on the map.
Ooh. Okay, here we go. Sprint. Oh my god!
Oh.
This thing is so fast.
Left me to death.
I do like the fact that
I
it's
know.
like Steven's never played this game.
This crab's
You know,
tough,
like
man.
he gets pretty
That's a lot of
excited.
defense.
Yeah, that crab, man, it cycles that defense buff like.
Dude, I saw you talking about that in chat. I was like, what? It only has 200
yeah.
health.
Quick
I didn't mean
code.
to do
We're even
that.
just showing a general
Oh.
area circle.
No,
Stay
no,
directly
no.
where
I'm
it
not
is.
doing the
Pug
party
Planet.
first.
To be
Oh,
honest,
okay,
I
yeah,
lost
alright.
interest
You're
in the
gonna
game.
have to
Why did you
push
lose
these
interest in the
12,000
game,
each.
Pug?
1,000?
The core
Only
code.
1,000? I
But
think
the
we should do
argument can be
2,000.
made
I
that
think
they use
that's
magic to know
better
exactly
value.
where they are.
Wait.
If you're a mage,
But
if you're a fighter, you don't have magic.
Oh, you might want to leave the party.
No, no, he's in mine. Dread's in my party.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Dread, come over here. I
think-
see you on my part.
Yeah, so they're doing more
Oh, okay.
PvP,
Yeah, it
more
said Slurpee
dueling.
invited me, so that might be a bug.
Again, this is kind of pointless. We've
Okay,
seen
so
lots of this kind of
let's
stuff.
see. We're fighting things that are 200 health that die really fast. I say 1,000's a good starting point.
Now
too.
they
Yeah,
use
let's do
GM.
that.
Okay.
Now they're using GM. You know, their hacks to basically increase their life. And
What's the
so we're
mana
not
being
getting.
set to?
So in this, we're not getting an honest representation of where they're at with dueling, at all, because they're hacking, right? They're using GM tools. Yeah, if you have 200 life at level 10, great. You have 200 life at level 10. Duel, right? Show us where it's at right now. Show us that balance in the game. Like I don't want to see GM hacks. I want to see how this game is actually playing and actually progressing right now. And again, the duel, we've seen 2 caravan fights. I mean, we've seen a lot of duels. We've seen a lot of PvP. We got to see a little bit of gameplay here. This just comes across as unnecessary. This is fluff. I would much rather, them, show us a siege or something. That's another big game mechanic that we have not seen yet. Again, they did 2 test weekends. I would imagine there were thousands of players that were participated in those siege tests or in those play tests, the pre-alpha tests. Show us footage from that. Show us all the people running around. Let us kind of see maybe what the latency looks like. This is, basically, this is the rest of the video, watching Steven get owned because he's terrible at PvP. And that's even after they basically hacked, and I don't know, for
Oh, wait.
personal
I have a problem.
opinion.
I have a problem. I can't set my health to 1,000 because it doesn't set my cap.
Oh, okay. We gotta.
So you guys got to match my health.
Let's match this.
All right,
up, yeah.
wait. It's 2764. Okay.
Yeah.
This might be a long fight, but it's gonna be.
2764. And what are your guys' classes?
Tank and mage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got this.
Yeah, sure.
Just focus down Slurpee first. He's the mate.
Will do. He knows our strategy now.
Yeah, I've got range CC. Don't even worry about it. We got this.
What?
He's getting on a mount. He's just gonna turn and run.
All right.
Let me die.
Are we ready?
I am
Do we
ready.
need to flag?
Control F, yeah.
All right. What? Sorry.
Well,
tell me
we'll
flag
watch a
command.
bit of this, and then
Oh,
I'll
left,
probably
control left.
skip through
Yeah,
it just to save
I'll let it
time.
red.
Yeah, the little circle on the ground will be red.
All right, here we go. Good
Because
luck.
it's
Alright.
like 5 minutes of stuff we've already seen. Like Steven barely even puts up much of a fight.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Oh, he
God
got
damn
me!
it. Heal is too slow.
He got me!
And then they got a crab.
I got like CC'd off the bat. Okay, we're round 2. We got round 2. That tank is strong!
I told you.
Oh my gosh, look at my little gravestone. Are you looting our bodies?
Oh yeah.
What is
I'm gonna
wrong with
say-
you people?
I'm gonna say burst DPS wins in 2v2. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, well, to be fair, we're level 10.
Now remember, the
Let me-
game's
let me,
not balanced.
Let's try this again.
1v1. It's balanced.
I got
they're
going
going to balance more in
CC'd
group.
by app.
Yeah, so let's just skip ahead, because I mean,
Wait, what's he doing?
I mean,
Thunderbolt,
you can keep doing
Thunderbolt.
that.
they
but,
just they just
Brad, you
keep
need to
doing
switch
this
your
for a
points.
while, and it's just
back and she's gonna be like disapprovingly looking into the camera.
Unbelievable.
they were just put at the
but
end.
anyways, guys, we'll see you back on stream. Slurpee, Dread, Autumn, thanks for joining us. Had a lot of fun with you guys. Keep up the amazing work. The community appreciates your hard sacrifices to make Ashes the most amazing MMO possible. We will see you guys back on the stream. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, Stephen.
I just want to. I just.
have so many things
I,
to say.
Not enough classes, hype
just one
burnout.
comment,
Oh.
just real quick. All right. So like,
Yeah,
you think
exactly.
about, you know,
Well, that's the other.
sports teams, right?
That's the other thing, right? That tells me that this isn't Alpha 1 yet, because they have 8 primary classes. I would expect if you're going into an Alpha 1, you would have the basis of those 8 primary classes, right? Like you'd have something. I think they have 3 classes or maybe 4 classes that they've actually shown. So again, 64 is their total. So you think you'd have at least 8 going into an Alpha 1. And yeah, exactly. In the videos, they only show 3. So and again, it's not to take away from anything, right? Development's a process. But I think for them to be claiming that they're going into an Alpha 1, I think, again, that is more of a legal statement to cover their butts, because more because of European consumer protection laws than anything else. I do not think that this game is Alpha 1 in any sense of the word. I don't think they're ready yet. I think they need another year at least before they'll be a true Alpha 1. And that's understanding what an alpha actually is, right? I'm not talking a pre-release like Valheim or something, which is probably still in an alpha beta phase itself. But I'm talking a true alpha where the game is still in heavy development. And Alpha 1 is really testing your foundational elements, the core elements of your game. They don't even have all of those core foundational elements of this game in the game yet. So this is all still pre-alpha. And I think what we're going to see in April is still going to be more pre-alpha. But again, they're going to call it an Alpha 1, which, I mean, they call it whatever they want, right? But I think people really need to, accept that they're a good year, I would say, before a true Alpha 1 at their current pace of development. And again, that's not saying anything bad about them. I think that's like COVID has hurt them. They're trying to mash, their systems into an engine that traditionally doesn't do MMOs. So there's a lot of stuff that they have to work on with that.
There are coaches who are really good at coaching, but they can't get out there on the field and play per se, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel a little bit.
And I want them to take the time to develop this game.
I mean, another thing is I get pulled in 100 different directions each day at the studio.
Oh,
okay?
cool.
So I don't have a lot of time to get in and play and perfect my prowess in PvP per se. Okay. Watching you guys out there in the community, you get to watch the progression. You can go back, in the old school days of the early videos we put on YouTube and just see where the game has come from and where it's at now and kind of project out where it's going to be moving forward.
And that's exactly what I have been doing. And that's why I've been making the declarative statements I've been making that this game is not in an Alpha 1 state yet. I mean, let's talk about some of their previous videos. Let's say they showed us a caravan. Right, I remember the caravan. They have the little dragon, the little dragons attacking the city there or whatever. And then they go out into the forest. They have the caravan, and then everybody attacks the caravan. And then what do we get a couple of months later? We get the caravan again, but this time it's in a really, really small castle. But that wasn't the first time they showed us the castle. They showed us the castle beforehand, explaining how the castle sieges and stuff like that were going to work. So we get to see 2 caravan fights. Yet the first caravan fight was I don't know, was it more like a caravan? You got to, attack or defend. I know the one in the castle is more of a free-for-all PvP kind of looking thing. So was it different? No, it wasn't. It was the same content in 2 different locations. They're trying to pass it on as something different isn't being as honest as you could be. Now, graphically speaking, I don't know. in previous videos, we saw a whole lot more ground clutter. We saw a whole lot more grass and trees. Now, he says there's a bug in the game. That's why we don't see it. But, okay, but you're telling us to look at where's the game at in this video right now and compare it to the game in previous videos. I mean, it speaks for itself, right? Now, we know there's going to be bugs, and that's normal, natural. I would expect there to be bugs. If there weren't bugs, that would actually probably throw up a much bigger red flag, right? So the fact that there are bugs, they do show some of the bugs, is good. I like that. You know, environment-wise, the environment looks spectacular. You know, the character models, the clothing and stuff looks really good. And of everything that they've shown us over time, you know, the best things that always seem to be working is the visual graphics, right? Now, the spells look really good, right? They're not as bright. You know, they seem a lot more toned down, a lot of subtlety to them. That's good, right? That is something that is a change from previous videos that we've seen. But where are the mechanics, right? They're showing us a duel. Great, we've seen you guys duel a lot. That's nothing new. We want to see mechanics, right? We want to see more about nodes. We want to see more about, you know, the player housing. We want to see more about the sieges. We want to see more about corruption. That's the one thing, right? If anybody's noticed yet, they have not showed us anything about corruption, right? Where is Steven attacking one of these green guys and becoming corrupted? Where is that? Have not seen it. You know, where is any of that stuff, right? Where are the actual mechanics of this game? We're not seeing it. This is very fluff. This is very surface stuff. You know, they're going to show us more creature models and stuff like that here soon, which is perfect. Great. We know that their art team has had a ton of time to go and do this. This game looks phenomenal. Okay. It does. Where's the mechanics of this game? Right now, what they're showing us is what anybody could create in Unreal Engine, just buying scripts, right? Combat, right? Buy a character model, buy some clothing skins, buy some magic packs, and you know, you watch a couple of tutorials on YouTube, and you could conceivably, yeah, come up with 5 or 10 spells and have them interact with characters. Okay, if you had the time and the patience, you could probably do that in a month or so, right? If you're new to everything and whatever. There's a guy that I watch. He's a dinosaur character on YouTube, and that's what he does. He takes popular games and recreates them in Unreal Engine, and you play them, and it's kind of crazy what he does. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's a little green dinosaur guy, and he does just really neat and cool stuff. So we're not seeing anything that really, in my opinion, stands out and makes Ashes of Creation different from anything that I've already seen. And that's because, in my opinion, they are not there yet. And these things are very important. They're foundational. And that's what would make it, again, a true Alpha 1. And again, I'm okay with them not being there. But my issue is they're passing this off as if they are there. But they're not. They can't even see there yet. It's still over the horizon, but they're passing this off as if they are there already. And you know, unless they're like holding back a bunch of stuff, that's not being very open and transparent. If they are, and I don't think it's very open and transparent that, you know, again, they're not saying, hey, you know, like, why aren't we seeing, you know, these foundational elements? I would expect every other month that they would show some aspect of one of the foundational elements that's going to make Ashes of Creation different from other MMOs. And then every other month, you show some fluff like this, right? So you get 2 months. to show a little bit of something. And they have a lot of systems that they want to do, right? Like the corruption, the caravans, the sieges, the nodes. So it's not like they have a bunch of stuff that they can run out of, right? They could show us a raid every 3 or 4 months. But there's a lot of time in there that they could do that. Now, maybe every 3 months then show us something that's more of a foundational thing. And I don't see that. I don't feel that we're getting that. And again, I'm not disparaging the game or the team in any way. All I'm saying is I wish that they would be a little more honest with their pledge of being more transparent and open, and actually say, listen, because of what we're trying to do with this game, we're not there yet. Nobody has done anything like this before. It's not like we can copy and paste. We have to develop things from scratch. They kind of said that earlier in this video. They kind of got there, but they're not quite there yet. And I don't know how many monthly cosmetics they feel that they have to try and sell to people, particularly the whales. I mean, in that regard, it does kind of feel like they're potentially falling into the Star Citizen trap. And I would hate to see them do this.
There's a lot of progress being made, so
well, show us the progress.
The fact that we decided to go with the transparent development process, it obviously, as I've said, has been
where's the and that's just what I just finished talking about. Where's the transparency? I don't see it. I mean, I mean, no development is ever going to be as transparent as cellophane, right? You can't be. That's impossible. But the type of transparency that they keep intimating is not the transparency that I have seen. And to me, that's what comes across as not being, fully honest. I think it's more misdirection. I don't think it's meant to be an outright lie or anything like that. I just think that, again, there's an element of fake it till you make it. And so far, I haven't seen too many people try to call them out for this yet, but I have a feeling that other people, will. And there are others that definitely have called them out, even before me, and in much harsher ways. Like I said, I kind of understand the development system. I've been around game development and whatnot for over 20 years. I get it. I understand. But don't tell me something that you're not actually doing. And that I'm not a fan of. And that really is probably my biggest complaint.
Double-edged sword, but at the same time, it's super rewarding to just watch the progress.
Maybe people aren't being honest with Steven.
That things will still be polished and progress, and things will change, and not everything is there now, but you get to come along for that ride as we're building everything.
Yeah, this isn't there will be many updates to the game. Do not fret.
Yeah, we got a long road ahead. Yeah. But it's cool to see it coming together.
So okay, so see, and this is what maybe Steven doesn't know the honest truth, right? Because now you just had Margaret, who's been in development, right? You had Jeff, who's been in development for quite some time, basically come out and they're contradicting Steven without directly contradicting him, but they're coming out and they're adding that caveat, they're adding that asterisk of many updates. We're not there yet. It's a long road ahead. And again, that listening to their own words, that's why I say this game is nowhere near Alpha 1. It's not. They're claiming it is. Steven's claiming it is, but this game is not Alpha 1 ready. That's okay. Steven just needs to come out and admit that, right? He just needs to come out and say, "Hey, listen, guys, we're calling it Alpha 1, but in actuality, we're not quite there to what a traditional Alpha 1 would be." And I'm not meaning like the early access version of it that everybody's gotten used to in the last 5 years, where they try to sell you a game that's not that looks good, but it's nowhere close. I am talking about the same traditional alpha that Steven tries to talk about, right? That one. Yeah, I'd probably remove it and then repost it correctly. Yeah, that would probably be a good idea there, Pug. So I don't know. Maybe again, Steven's a salesman, right? I mean, he made a lot of money selling. That's where he started, and so a lot of what he is doing is salesmanship. Um, now somebody's going to come along and say, yeah, he made a lot of money selling for an MLM, and use that as kind of an excuse of shady business practices. But I mean, there's many MLMs that have been very successful companies, so you can't take anything away from that. I think that's a poor argument. I have seen some people make that argument. I do not accept it. There's a lot of businesses that are out there that you are probably aware of that were MLMs at one point and have gained full on legitimacy as businesses. And yeah, there's been a lot of hokey ones out there too. Get rich quick schemes and whatnot. Absolutely. I'm not going to imply or suggest that is what Steven's doing. I think he honestly, he is trying to sell this. Again, there's an element of fake it till you make it. But when you have Jeff and Margaret, who you just heard them, many, many updates, long road ahead. I mean, this is what, really you should be paying attention to. Again, I just wish they'd just come out and say, listen, we're calling it Alpha 1. We're not quite there yet, but we're making good progress. And Alpha 1 will be an Alpha 1 for a significant amount of time. Because Alpha 2 then would have to be your traditional Alpha 1, where all of those basic foundational elements of your game are ready to be tested by an Alpha Q&A team. Which, again, they're not there yet. We don't have your core 8 classes. We haven't seen the corruption system. We haven't seen really anything of the node system for quite some time. They talk about it, but we haven't actually seen that. And I know that there's an element of them wanting us to experience these things ourselves as well. Steven's made that very, very clear. But that's what gets him in a catch-22, right? Because now he says, I want you guys to experience the lore and the story and quest, in the game, not, through these videos, but at the same time, open and transparent. Well, then be open and transparent. That, you can't have it both ways. And I think that's kind of what they're trying to do. And it's unfair because, again, it goes back to my opening comments to this video. It creates white knights. It creates situations within the community that create, those toxic situations. And those things will continue to grow and faster the longer that this stuff kind of goes on. So, no, it's okay. Yeah, it's how it all works.
Right. Like,
got to watch videos on it.
For us to kind of vet things out real quick, right? And be like, okay, this is not working. Or, okay, maybe if we push this a little bit further in this direction, it'll work and it'll be awesome. So there's a lot of, like, we're playing with some of these spaces too.
Yeah, there's lots of videos out there on how Twitter works.
Is being quick and putting stuff in quick so you guys can get
that are free
to it.
And I would also like to point out one other thing real quick. In that fight, when I ran away from Dread, I had full confidence that Trad was going to be able to keep himself alive because he was a healer, right? And I needed to drink a potion. So that was a tactical retreat to come back at a later date and hopefully save Trad, but he died a little faster than I had expected. So Trad, you're going to have to work
It was your fault, Trad.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to put this out. Trad GM'd a campaign and then went into this and was still semi-functional, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our other departments if you guys are good. Anything else you want to add to that? And obviously we have some design questions as well in the Q&A segment, so.
Yeah, I don't think we
Moving
needed to see
moving
what
on to
10 or 15
environments.
minutes of
First and
duels.
foremost, we got
We've
some
seen
really
lots of that already.
cool tropical and jungle images. So we'll be going
See again,
into
so they're
those.
showing us the art. We
And
see this all the time.
yeah, that
You
the
know,
team
it's
has been
very
doing an amazing job.
impressive.
Obviously,
We
you got
all
to
love
see
it.
some of the
In a way, this
world and
in a way, I
environment
almost see
and
this
all
as
the
a
different they're adding
distraction
all these
as
like
well,
different
right?
types of
Because
pieces in the world that
again,
kind
the
of
art
give it
department
a
is
feel, you know.
the art department is the only department that and the environment department really are the only two, really are the only departments that the game mechanics are irrelevant in a lot of the situations, right? So they have all the time. They're not going to have bugs and glitches and stuff like that necessarily, right? So they get to go in and all of this stuff looks very nice. It looks very pretty. I don't think anybody can take anything away from the game and just how phenomenal it looks, the detail and stuff. It looks, really good. I compliment them all the time on that. But I'm kind of getting to the point now where this feels more like a distraction, right? It's, oh, look at this shiny thing over here. Let's not think or talk about the actual mechanics, right? Let's do 15 minutes of a duel of 4 people dueling using GM hacks, to increase their health. And let's not, hey, let's do a corruption thing, right? Let's have Steven kill one of these guys, get corrupted, and then show how his stats have changed, and then have him kill another one, get more corrupted, show his stats have changed, kill another one, get more corrupted, show how his stats have changed, show us combat where he's uncorrupted versus one player. How does the combat unfold, and then get corrupted, right? Kill all 3 of them, get that 3 layer of corruption, and then have him do that same battle. How does it unfold, right? What changes in the stats? That I think would be great. I think we would definitely be able to see more how does this system work, because right now a lot of people's concern is you can go around and wipe out a couple of lobies and still probably be able to stand on your own, and you've ran off with a bunch of their loot or whatever, and then you go kill a couple of mobs at your level and you wipe out the corruption that was on your character, and then you can go back and do it again, right? A lot of people are thinking this corruption thing is going to be barely an inconvenience. That's what I've read, and where there's other people are like, oh, no, corruption's going to hit you hard. It's going to be like you lost a level or 2. Okay, well, which is it, right? And I haven't seen a lot of that in any of these development videos.
Like areas.
Yeah, the environment team obviously does a great job. In that video, you might have noticed that there was a lacking of vegetation and some grass. We currently have a little bit of a little bug with that, and it's being looked at right now, and hopefully it'll be fixed pretty soon. It just happened to fall. I know it just happened to fall on the day I wanted to do the recording.
It was like in the build that they patched.
Yeah.
But obviously in these screenshots you can see that there's vegetation and
ground clutter,
grass. This one's my favorite, is like the vines that are coming down. Those are really cool.
Yeah, the
Some
environment
of the
team
ponds.
always does a top-notch job in making these beautiful areas.
They have, like I said, there's nothing to take away from the art and the environment.
Rocks kind of jetting out of the ground and vegetation. I love that. Nice touch.
Let's see some dungeons though, right? Let's see some other things.
Beautiful.
Actually, it's really funny. This ruins area is already really different. It's evolved quite a bit
even in
since this screenshot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how so?
Well, we've done a pass of the corruption that exists in this area, and some of the effects that it's had on the terrain. So there's already been like a lot of changes just based on sort of the iterative process.
Okay, well,
that looks kind of cool.
I just saw a comment in Slack's general channel where it says, Trad said, "Man, I was thrown under the bus just now." I'm sorry, Trad. I was just joking, Trad. You did an awesome job.
But this does look really Lovely. I guess if it has a bunch of corruption in it, maybe it's
Well,
not
this is a different area. This is
Okay.
an area where some nefarious folks have kind of settled down. But yeah, this is actually on a totally different location than the
Like an
last one we
old
saw.
city
All right.
or village. That actually looks
And
like it could have been a
last but
castle
not
or
least,
something
we
at one
have
time.
some more cool work in progress. I like the little smiley face to make sure you know that it's a work in progress. But
got-
we like to show
some
the different processes.
rough
and
hewn
obviously
docks.
You get to see things as we go forward. Some of the pieces, like that big rock structure that we showed you in the past.
This kind of
we
reminds me
get
of
to see in the
Valheim.
game. So these are kind of work in progress, different pieces that you're going to be seeing in the game. And
Yeah,
you've probably seen
these
some of
those particular pieces are for little underwater cave area. The above ground pieces.
Hey, even that looks really nice. That looks like a very nice antique cabinet.
Too. You guys will probably see that in a future stream, but
Shipwreck's not in this one.
Looks really good.
I pulled it out. I also pulled that out. But
oh, you pulled it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a shipwreck. It wasn't. It's not on the
ready.
screen now.
It wasn't ready.
It wasn't ready, but I think we did show it off to some other people. Moving on from environment, as we always say, environment is looking amazing. It's beautiful. Character.
Absolutely.
So you guys you saw the timeless terrapin in its infancy, you might say, the gray box version of it. Now you're kind of getting to see it with all of its pretty textures and colors.
Yeah, very neat looking mount.
I designed this creature, and it's so cool seeing it come to life. Every time I see something, I'm like, so.
Yeah, this guy's cool.
I think her version had mushrooms on it.
Creepy eyes.
Yeah, he's got 4 eyes, I think is what was happening. And
what would be really cool is if during the seasons, you could put like a Christmas tree thingy on it.
Yeah, I love the Kieran.
This looks really cool.
One of these will be a mount,
well.
and one is like a creature variant.
Yep. So one is going to be the one should be a mount, and one should be something you find out in the world.
And these are in-game achievables. So
Yeah.
not
Like you said, like the art and stuff is just is
And then the
really
next
cool.
one is our Howling Ridge Ox, which I believe is
He's a thick boy.
The Year of the Ox, everyone.
December set.
Oh yeah, it's Year of the Ox. That's right. I was born Year of the Ox.
Oh, you're an ox?
Yeah.
I'm a goat.
1985.
I'm a rabbit.
You got fangs.
Oh yeah.
Fangs. It's got 4 horns.
Don't they already have that? It's like Guardian of the Galaxy.
This is really
It's got
cool.
some
This is like
weird bony
non-textured
thingies
version
coming
so
off
far,
of its
but the model.
legs. Wonder how it
Maybe
lays
next
down.
month I'll show you the final version. And then next up we have some more water creatures. So we have a little fish. You can kind of see the
Garibaldi!
size. There's also stingrays.
And then Core Code made a really good
there's
observation
Oh, yeah.
the creation process
about this
of the
thing.
stingrays
I
here.
won't.
Yeah, one of the things that I really dislike.
I won't mention it. We'll
about
see if anybody
some
else sees
MMOs
it.
I've played in the past with regards to water is that they always feel very empty from like just a fish standpoint. You never really see like lots of fish
Near the
moving around.
tail.
And obviously, you can get away with a lot. Keeping those fish more, client side, right? They don't have to be replicated across the server. or
Really
anything,
good
but at least
detail,
you can
though.
populate the ocean.
Really good
so that it's,
detail.
pretty and has.
I like the
life in
colors.
it, and
Hopefully that they
that's
transfer
part
well
of,
underwater.
I think creating these look great, and I think they're just going to really bring to life, that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have like so much water content. Like, we really want to make sure that it's just as well taken care of as our overlands.
Yeah. Well, this
Giant
particular
kraken
stingray,
comes and eats your ship.
this particular stingray, I think is actually an NPC, but the other little fish, those would just be kind of more like effects and clients. Like it wouldn't be a targetable or anything.
Well, that's a
Just
good
swim
thing
around.
too. So many games
And then
have
next
nothing in
up,
the
I just
water.
kind of want to show them off. They look really
Yeah.
cool.
Like Valheim.
We've got the protect armor, which I
You
know
know, just
Steven
wish there's a little bit
tweeted
more in the
and
water.
shared off on our social. And
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't
This
swim
is,
underwater, so I guess
Eli.
it really doesn't matter.
Eli did this armor. This is a protector's armor. I think he did a great job with it. I love the detail.
Looks
the
looks
material
really
work on it. I
authentic.
think it looks very good.
it's sick.
Yeah, it's really authentic.
No leg day. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, the textures are really cool.
Even look
Yeah,
how it's
that
already
cloak is
dented.
nice, too.
It looks like it's
And if you
actually
look at
been
the
worn.
armor, it actually has a very neat design.
The helmet's got some dents in it.
Really cool. And then the next two are more concept art pieces. So this first one is the Solari aerial imagery.
So this
I think we might have shared this.
Orcs, I think.
That
Like
is
as
so
a sneak
cool.
peek, but
Yeah, I think this is Ricky
not this
Ho
one,
worked on this one, right? I think this is Ricky's piece. So obviously, these concept images, they give environment great direction on, the construction of these specific levels that design is intending, to create around. An environment then can implement based off of, some of these concepts. And I think it's
Kind of
a
coast and
great
cliff
job that the concept team does in kind
dwellers.
of bringing to life
Looks like
these
got some sort of
ideas, and
wind
giving,
catchers or
that
dream catcher
resource to
thingies
environment
back
and
here.
character to create around.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, because everybody kind of an anchor to work from, and it's really nice to be like.
Definitely
really quickly, design
looks
can say like, oh,
kinda
we
similar
wanted
to
something
Orc
else. I know
World of
we said
Warcraft
something,
orc
but we meant
buildings.
something else. And concept is that nice like
You
bridge.
got the
between those two
leather and
things.
stuff. Very.
And again, to see this stuff
You
like
guys still got the
starting to
towers.
come to life is really cool.
And
It's
then this
definitely
is
a
the
nod, I
Solari
think, in that
camp,
direction.
which I think we've shared out already
Yeah, I
on
think
social
I
if
tweeted
you've
that.
been staying tuned. But we like to have our updates be an all-encompassing.
this looks like
thing, so if
bird
you miss
people.
something, you catch it all.
Big bird
But
feet.
yeah,
Gotta catch 'em.
Kind of beaky.
very neat. And of course, these really give a good mood. And honestly,
So this might be this must be a
this
sub
image
racer
almost
or
looks like what
something.
it is in game,
No,
right? It's
don't
crazy
it's not
sometimes.
Orc then.
They're like, if you put the concept next to like the real in game, it's almost the same.
Yeah, it's definitely a testament to the talent of our artists
Mhm.
on all sides of the fence.
And I think that's it. We'll move into our Q&A segment.
I hate to say it, but
What's up?
maybe Sarah can cut down a little bit of the Q&A because I have a 12:30 that I cannot miss actually.
Okay. Well, let's do. Let's try to get through 2 questions at least.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we got 20. We got 20 minutes.
20
Whatever
minutes.
we can do in
well,
20 minutes.
I'm just saying 2 questions is probably are going to get in 20 minutes with you.
Oh, wow! That was some shade. Are you saying I'm long-winded?
He just wants to be thorough.
Our speed questioning is not speed questioning.
Unbelievable.
Our first question is from the forums from Nixa, and they wanted to know about subscriptions. For the packs that include several months of game time, does that time automatically start at launch, or do you get to choose when it starts?
Good question.
That would start on the subscription activation. So I think essentially the account, this might change, but I believe that what we'll do is the account will have applicable subscription time, and you will activate.
When is this game dropping? Probably 2 to 3 years.
All right.
Be my guess.
We'll make sure that that is something that is possible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it should be, but yeah.
On the guild names, or for the next topic is guild names from Kino Vandemion. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your names wrong. What is your planned character limit for guilds?
Think they said
That's a good
300.
question. I don't think I know off the top of my head. Is it like 32
Potentially, yeah.
characters? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, they don't have an official
that
date.
Sounds right. But I
Um,
don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
but
in
so
that-
my
that
guess,
vein.
based on
Right.
their course
sure
of
you know.
development,
Um,
I'm estimating 2 to 3
We have
years.
a limit. It's somewhere around 30. Yeah.
No, not guild members. This is character limit. in
Right. The
name.
character limit. The
Oh
number
yeah,
of-
sorry,
Yeah.
character. Yeah, name.
Yeah, just correcting the chat.
oh,
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
sorry. Guild,
Yeah.
It's guild name. It's in reference to names, not.
But I mean, the new Lord of the Rings could be delayed.
Yes.
Yeah,
as
many more
well.
than 30.
Yes, many more. Thank you to this person for actually telling me how to pronounce their name because it has a lot of numbers and stuff in it. Celestial Dreamer on the forums wants to know about marriage. Can only the head of the family household increase the size of the family by marrying, or can a family essentially
Well,
double
it's pretty
size
normal,
if everyone tries the knot?
Because you hope not. You're looking forward to
No,
these games.
so,
I mean,
there are
delays in
particular
game
costs that
development
are
are
associated with
just
family
a fact of
maintenance and
life. They
creation.
happen.
Those costs can be shared. Some of them can be
Yeah,
shared
it's
amongst the
just a
family members,
natural
but some
part
of them
of
are
game
specific
development.
to the head of the family, so to speak. And the
And
marriage
usually it's to
addition
the
would only
benefit
apply to the head
of
the
the
family.
game,
So the
most of
family
the time.
can't typically or won't be able to double its size by every member getting a marriage, and that is also one of the incentives of starting your own family, so to speak.
The next question here is from Jalan, which is about freehold destruction.
Always gets a question, it seems.
If the node your freehold is in is successful,
well, there's lots of other games you can play.
Pillage your own
I mean, New
freehold?
World will be hopefully coming out soon as well.
If it's no, you cannot. So,
I mean, I've been playing the balls off of Valheim.
If you're registered as a defender, and some people are by default registered as a defender based on their citizenship with the node or whether or not that node has a alliance with another node's.
Yes, this is a question from Jalan, which Jalan should have known the answer already ahead of time. Kind of seems like a wasted question.
Participating in the looting rights of a successful siege.
Well, when they do the Hearth and Home update, hopefully there'll be more to do. But I'm not quite there yet. I still have to. I haven't killed Bone Mass yet.
You're trying to make me be long-winded. I now
I'll be playing some Valheim tonight.
Unbelievable.
I think.
I'm in utter shock. I love it.
I'll do some Apex
as well. Wants to know about nodes. Will cities be influenced by the typography around them, or will they generate and expand on a flat plane?
Well, thank you very much for the follow.
Currently, the way that the platform system is set up is it's capable of adjusting the topography of the node's footprint, regardless of the surrounding.
Yeah, me too. I've had enough experience with too many MMOs that almost made it,
the presentation
or
of the
when they made it,
and how
they were kind of terrible.
Is essentially both from an aesthetic standpoint as well as
or the development team just got lazy, like Defiance. You know, when it came out, it was great, but they just dropped the ball on continuing what they were doing. Yeah, Wildstar was not too bad. I played that one too for a while. I enjoyed that one.
So, for example, if we're experimenting a little bit with the platform tech and like putting up a node up against the side of a mountain or on the edge of a cliff or something that has a beautiful vista or something. Those are things that we're going to test out, obviously, as we continue to work on the node tool and how that.
I mean, I'm very hopeful for Ashes of Creation. If they can get everything to work the way they want it to work,
have the node independent.
It's going to be a really great game.
You should definitely go check
but
out
I think they're struggling right now making everything work the way they want it to.
Building tools and the node stuff. So definitely go check that out. There's a lot of cool.
Well, that's just Try on Worlds.
Our next question is from Half Tilt Gamer about skills.
I think unfortunately Try on Worlds was more about the money and the suits, less than
probably not.
The actual game and story.
Which is not to say that some skills won't be affected by the environment.
I mean, I got right into Defiance.
We've talked about whether
I'm quite steeped in the internal ongoings.
Those are all things
and
Ice
Tooth. Thank you very much for the
follow.
follow.
Isn't going to be anything that is only activatable indoors, or is only activatable in lava, or is only activatable in the underrealm. Like, I don't think that we're going to go in that direction.
And Ray Blav wants to know about the character creator. Will you need to have early access in order to pre-make your character?
I know this caused a bit of a conversation on the forums.
Available before launch.
That's a good question. I haven't made a decision on that yet. But when we do make a decision on that, we will let you know.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so on the forums, there's actually quite the discussion about the character creator and whether or not it's pay to win if you get early access to the character creator because you've bought a pre-order pack. So kind of the conversation has been based around who is going to get access to the character creator, if it's going to be a separate unit from the game itself. So basically, can anyone download the character creator and then start creating their character before launch? And then when they start the game, they can upload whatever character they've created. Or do you have, will you have had to have bought a subscription first before you get access to the character creator, and then you can create your character? So the argument is well, if you've paid for a pre-order pack, now you have all of this time to create your character, which could take hours, and then at launch you basically get to go right into the game. Whereas if it's only available to those people when you buy or subscribe to the game or pre-order, or is it going to be something that you can download regardless of your subscription or pre-order level, create a character, and then if you choose to subscribe to the game, then you can upload your character? Or is it something that might be attached to the server? So now, you have a bunch of people who aren't going to buy the game, using server resources, creating a character. Because that in itself could almost be like a free game, right? For some people. So right now we don't know, right? Right now we don't know if it's a separate entity or if it's going to be part of, the game when you download it. And I think that's something that they're still discussing internally. I'm just saying that's one of the conversations that they are having on their forums that I think is definitely worthy of a discussion. And is it pay to win if you buy a pre-order pack and then you get access to this thing? Versus you have to wait until buying a subscription is possible, which is only going to be when the game launches, which in effect gives the pre-order people an advantage in game because, well, again, if you're someone who takes an hour or two to create a character, that's an hour or two of gameplay you don't get. But at the same time, there's an argument to be made that creating your character is part of the game experience. And if you pay for a pre-order, all they really have to do is say, well, you can pre-order your subscription, right? So right now there's pre-order packs that give you subscription time, but you also get cosmetics and stuff like that. If they know that, say, the game was going to launch, November 1st, 2023, then they could start selling in September or October subscriptions, right? We can prepay your first month, right? Set up your account, prepay your first month for launch, and then you can get access to that. But then, of course, the question comes down to, well, what if you don't? And so there's a really good conversation going on there, unfortunately. And again, it goes to my opening comments to the video, which if you're a subscriber, you'll be able to hear those comments. If you're just watching this on YouTube, you won't, because I need to, I want to add some additional bonuses to my subscribers and whatnot. But it does, the conversation, unfortunately, has been somewhat derailed, and a lot of people aren't really getting it. Damn, you better turn that face cam off before you make me act up, cutie. Okay, from Puff Daddy. Well, welcome to the stream. So yeah, it's a worthy conversation to have. I think the technology exists today that you could create a character creator, kind of a small program that you can download. You could create the character on your own PC, and then when you create an account, you would have the ability to upload a specific file from that software to the server. Now, of course, there is a risk that people find a way to modify what is uploaded so that rather than it being your creator, there's other things that maybe should not be present. So that's something that they'd have to come up with. But I don't see it as a bad thing if they can create an additional file or a program that you can download, and then you can spend, say, make it available a month before the game's expected to launch. Then you have a month to create your character, whether you have paid for the game or not. Because really, if you've created a character and you've spent a lot of time creating your character, I think you're more likely to pay the $15 to see your character in game. Because remember, there's no box cost; it's subscription only. And I would imagine the character creator is going to be a pretty small program, pretty small, file structure. So, in my opinion, would be I think they should make a downloadable, and then you can work on creating your character and then upload it when your subscription activates. I think that would be most fair. And then you eliminate whatever pay-to-win argument there might be. And because it's something that's saved on your computer, you don't have to worry about server resources being allocated or server memory being allocated to have all of these characters that people never buy a subscription to ever play the game in or as part of the game. So that would be my opinion on, I think, on how you should do that. You eliminate a lot of arguments. But again, the only thing you potentially run into is people that maybe get a little too clever and somehow alter files so that what's uploaded to the game, may not be what would be expected, right? Somebody makes a penis out of a nose, or makes a Balchinian, or makes a vagina looking mouth or something, right? Like people kind of go a little too far. Maybe they alter some files a little bit. So you'd run into that, right? But again, the only way you would ever see that in game is if you pony up $15, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get reported and probably banned or something, right? So are you going to really spend $15 to try and get your Balchinian or penis nose or badge mouth in the game? Probably not. I don't think anybody's going to do that. So I think the risk is really, really low of those kinds of abuses.
Or Rishian wants to know about lore. What is the overarching name for the universe that encompasses Vera, Sanctus, and any other realms/planes? And I don't know if we're ready to share all that yet.
People are weird. And people will try.
I can't remember what we haven't or haven't shared about that.
I don't think we have.
Okay, we haven't, so we probably shouldn't.
I do have, in the future on the website, there will be a lore section, and we'll be slowly releasing more stories and things like that in there.
Yeah.
Probably like Eternium or something.
We would talk about that just yet.
Yeah. Okay. Our next question is from Captain Decky, saying they want to talk about spying. Have you considered some type of system where you can hide your identity for the purpose of guild intrigue or assassination?
No, we haven't really.
We've talked about it, but not in a systemic way.
Right.
It's more about like, well, players will be able to do this if we don't do that, and then trying to make decisions that kind of are more permissive than less permissive. But we don't have like any explicit systems for that.
Mm-hmm. Now we can take one more question.
I think people will try and
10 questions.
People will tell and figure that out.
Next question is from Wembley.
I think there does need to be an intrigue system, because you have economic nodes, scientific nodes, militaristic nodes, and you're going to have different guilds that are going to be based around each of these node types, and you have the family system, the freehold system, the caravan system, the siege system. Because all of these systems, I think, in a way, almost create an expectation that there's going to be a way to spy, right? Because you need to, you're going to want to spy so that you know when our caravans may be going to happen within certain guilds or sieges, right? Like, is a particular node planning a siege, or a particular guild. And so I think it's very important that there is some way that you can spy. And I think right now, it's set that I think you can only be a citizen of one node on your account per server. So hopefully that's something that they'll change, right? Or there should be a way, like maybe you can buy a nameplate, right? Where people in your guild will see your name, but you would appear to have a different name elsewhere, right? Or something. I think that'd be kind of cool. But I look at a game like EVE Online. Spying and intrigue is a massive part of the end game in EVE Online. Like, I haven't played EVE Online seriously for years. But when the big thing that was happening was you had Goon Swarm and Bob, which were the two biggest corporations. They owned the most amount of space. And there are some serious shenanigans going on as far as spying and stuff like that. Like something like almost $1 trillion worth of ships were basically stolen or moved. I mean, it was huge, and it was a massive. I remember some of like the PC gamers and stuff like that were actually talking about some of the stuff that happened back then. I think these are huge movements, and it was all because people got in and could rise in the ranks and be spies and infiltrators and stuff like that. Yeah, EVE Online definitely is. It's not a casual game, that's for sure. I left it because I didn't like the piracy system or the war deck system, because the war declaration system was basically just used by pirates to extort people, and I didn't like that. I think you need to have a reason to war deck. I don't think somebody can just see you, find out what your guild is, and just immediately declare war. And that is one of my concerns with Ashes of Creation, is they are going to have that war declaration system. Now, their system it's temporary, so it's only going to last a few days. But at the same time, I mean, if I'm a gatherer, right, and I'm really good at gathering, right, that's where my skills are set. And so I have all these gatherables and stuff that I use to sell to other guilds, and that's how I support myself and my guild. And some nobody finds me doing my thing and decides, hey, I'm going to try and make these guys' life horrible. Never talks to me, nothing. Just, I declare war on you. And now what? I'm just not going to log in for 3 or 4 days? Like, that's ridiculous. I think there needs to be some form of interaction. There needs to be a reason, an excuse, maybe smack talk or something. But it shouldn't be used for just pure extortion. Because that's just bullying. It's just another form of cyberbullying in a game, and I don't really believe in that or whatever. So that's my one problem with EVE Online is they actually promote piracy. Steven's kind of doing the same thing with the caravan system, in that it's promoting piracy. But what I like about it is, and it's kind of optional, but strangers can help you or fight against you. So if a particular guild is trying to target a particular caravan and attack it, well, strangers can come by and say, hey, I'm going to help these guys out and help defend the caravan. Or these other randoms can come in and say, I'm going to attack this caravan. And by attacking, if they win, they take away some of that loot from that guild that is basically trying to be a pirate, right? So you've kind of watered down what they're going to get at the end of the day. And I think that definitely makes the whole caravan system more strategic. And I like that idea. And again, it's optional, right? I can try and run stuff back and forth just in my personal inventory, or I can try and run a caravan, right? And so you have to prepare. You have to get your guild involved. Maybe hire some mercenaries. Hope the mercenaries don't turn on you, right? Because you're going to pay a mercenary guild to defend your caravan. And then they might say, hey, you know what? The value of what's in your caravan is worth far more than what you paid us to defend it. So we're just going to keep the money you gave us to defend your caravan, and then we're just going to destroy your caravan and take all the loot for ourselves, right? There's those kinds of issues that you really have to consider with Ashes of Creation as well. So I hate to say it. So it's Kinsu. I'm going to guess it's Kinsu. Kinsu. Could be wrong. I'm sorry if I butcher it. But there may be little bit of brain power needed with Ashes of Creation when you really dive into the potential complexities of some of these systems and how some of these systems work with each other, right? And I like that. It's very simple on its face, but there are a lot of intricacies that you could really dive yourself into. I'm going to, you know, I don't know how. I can't think of anything myself right now. But there will be, I think, a point where players will figure out a benefit to the corruption system, right? The corruption system is meant to have no benefits to you, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's supposed to penalize you more than benefit you. But I think somebody's going to figure out using not only the corruption system, but other systems of the game to make corruption work for them. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I expect that's going to happen. And it's going to be something that I think Intrepid Studios just simply did not think about because, obviously they're thinking about how they want the game to actually work and how individual systems are supposed to work. And then somebody's going to figure it out where, you combine these 2 or 3 systems in a certain way and it does something unexpected. Now, some people call those exploits. I say, you know what? It's just how the game was designed. So don't call it an exploit, but if that's something you don't want to have happen, fix your game, patch it, right? You patch that out. You don't penalize a player for being smarter than the developers. And I shouldn't even say smarter than the developers because it's not that the developers are dumb. It's just the developers are not necessarily thinking about how all of these systems may relate to each other at the extremis, right? At the furthest point out. They're looking at immediately how are all these things going to work together and function? How should they function and plan? And yeah. So, well, I'm just saying if it's not intended to happen, there's a lot of things that are in games that are not intended by the developers to happen. And I've seen too many game developers come out and say, you are exploiting the game. You're going to get punished. WoW did this to a lot of people over the years. And it's like, well, no, you created something in the game, not thinking about how it was going to work with something else. And because of that, an enterprising player or group of players figured something out. It's why I say you can never eliminate pay to win. You can never eliminate pay to win or real money trading, right? Cash shops, right? Ashes, they're trying very hard to eliminate cash shops or real money trading, but you never can. You never. Look at Method and what they did in WoW. I mean, they eventually got caught, I think, because somebody let it out, but they figured a workaround in the system. Now, we also know because of that World of Warcraft is kind of in bed with some of these, organizations and these groups. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen with AoC. I hope it doesn't, and I'm pretty sure it won't. But that doesn't mean that somebody still can't, right? Like there's nothing stopping somebody from PMing me in Discord as a level 50 saying, hey, can you run me through this dungeon? And they become a tier 3 subscriber on my Twitch channel, right? Like that technically is RMT, right? That's a cash trade. You can't stop that. I mean, I wouldn't mind a cash shop for outfits and weapon skins, and they have that, right? You can do that already. You can get cosmetics, and you pay cash to them, and that's how it works. But what I'm talking about is stuff that you can actually do in game, right? Or somebody in game has 50,000 gold, right? And but maybe in real life they just lost their job, so now that person comes to say again. Anybody and says, hey, listen, if I give you 10,000 gold, can you pay for my sub for the month? Cash, right? Real cash. It's a cash exchange for gold in game. So again, how, like, obviously they're going to track, right? You're not going to be able to just fork over 15,000 or 10,000 gold, and that's it. So but players will figure it out, right? A player says, hey, I have a caravan. I'm going to be in this place. You attack that caravan, you get all the loot, right? How do you in game say that? How do you know whether or not that's a real money transaction, right? Because I was given a heads up that this person's going to have this caravan undefended in this location at this time, right? Now, providing no other players get there, that we destroy that caravan, we get the loot inside the caravan, and the trade-off was that person gets a month paid, right? So, I send them a gift card or whatever, and then they can pay for a month. I'm not saying I'll do this. I'm just saying there are going to be ways that people are going to figure out how to do it. And I have 2 videos about a thread that kind of just derailed to the point where it started talking about this kind of stuff. And I had a few members of their community try to almost cancel me, really, if you were to go through the thread, because I'm saying somebody will figure it out. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to see it. Somebody will figure it out. And it's going to be through an unintended consequence of the features of the game, right? You can't stop everything. You can only, mitigate it to have the smallest occurrences possible. Didn't Diablo 3 have that and took it away? Well, I mean, WoW has it with the WoW coin. EVE Online has it with the pilot's license, where you can pay real cash. You buy the pilot's license, you put it in the auction house, and then people buy your pilot's license with ISK. I think the same thing happens with the WoW coin, right? You put it in the auction house, people buy it with in-game money. So,
and they want to know about caravans. How do you plan
that's
to
how
make
they get around it?
Rewards for defending a caravan appealing
So
to
caravans, that's what I was talking about.
When picking a side for caravan PvP? How do you make it appealing, like defending a caravan versus attacking?
Yeah, I mean, in the same vein that we make any participation appealing, right? People are going to have different focuses that will
it's a really
relate
good
to
question.
different roles within the game, and the caravan defender role is going to have its own progression, questing, and rewards associated with it that are going to attract a certain subset of players. And then, vice versa wise, we're going to have incentives that appeal to the more highway brigand type players. And you might not always be on one side or the other. That might change depending on what your interests are in the at the time. But obviously, those types of systems need to have robust, consequential type rewards and benefits associated with them in order to compel the player. And that's something obviously we're going to test in alphas and betas and see.
Okay, so again, let's look at the words, the verbiage. We've already seen them show the caravan system where you can attack a caravan and it pops and the loot flies out everywhere and you pick up the loot. But if you listen to how he's explaining the caravan system, he's talking in conceptualization, right? He's talking in such a way that they haven't figured this out yet. Again, this is why this game isn't Alpha 1 ready. They're still, they're in the design phase, right? They're getting the mechanics designed, but they still don't have it fleshed out yet, right? They still don't have it fleshed out as far as what are you going to get as a reward for defending a caravan? Because if you defeat the caravan, you get whatever loot's in there, as much as you can carry. So if you defend it, are you going to get the share of the loot that's in there regardless? Because if you weren't there to defend it, the caravan was going to be destroyed. So now, is it even worth having a caravan? Because the player, you're going to have to start giving shares out of whatever is in your caravan. If people come along and optionally decide to help, or is the game going to just reward you financially? and that's just going to cause inflation in the game, because now, rather than it being a player-driven economy, now the game is producing coins out of thin air because you helped defend a caravan. So that's not good or beneficial. Now you talk about there's going to be a progression tree, but it sounds very what if, right? And again, this is one of the things that I would like to actually see more of this stuff in game, and that's why I really believe that they are still really focused on the design, the core elements, and just the foundation. I don't think they've gotten to the part in development where they're really hammering down a lot of these systems to where they are what you would call an alpha or beta state for actual testing, right? I mean, because really, you're going to want to test these systems and the rewards and how do they balance out and stuff like that. How do you balance them out? Because maybe my caravan's just full of coal, where another caravan's full of diamonds, right? There's a different value in the caravan that you're attacking, right? So is the reward going to be commensurate with the value of the caravan itself? I mean, that clearly is going to make a difference between are you going to attack a caravan or not. And we do, like, one of the things about the caravan as well is, one of the questions is, how do you know what's in the caravan? What's the value? Well, because at the very top of the caravan, you're going to see that whatever's in the caravan kind of represented at the top of the caravan. Okay, well, so you make the caravan 70% coal, 30% diamonds. You don't see a lot of diamond, you see a ton of coal, but what's the value of diamonds anyways, right? Like, is there going to be a way that we can manipulate what is shown at the top of the cart, right, for that value? So is there going to be a way where we can obfuscate the contents so that it looks like it's a worthless caravan, but in actuality it's loaded to the gills with gems and precious materials, right? So good questions. For me, I kind of hope that there is going to be a way that you can kind of make, maybe hide some of the stuff that's in your caravan, so that when people come by, they're going to question, should I attack it? Shouldn't I? Is it going to be worth it or not? The value. So what if they put in like badges for defending and you get a certain amount to turn in for loot? Right, exactly. But again, you're still going to run into inflation, right? Because you're still producing something out of nothing. So if you defend a caravan, ultimately, I think it should be up to the person who owns that caravan to give a share of its contents to the people who defend it. So say, if you attack a caravan and you destroy the caravan, 100% of its loot, well, I think the penalty is like 50%, right? 50% goes back to wherever you originated from. 50% becomes available to the winners, right? To the people who destroyed your caravan. I think that's what it was at. Now, if you successfully defend a caravan, should the opposite happen, right? Should then 50% of whatever the contents of the caravan are be shared to all of the defenders? Or 30%? Now, how many times can you attack a caravan, right? Because say maybe you're trying to go almost cross-continent, right? Maybe you're trying to go through 2 or 3 different nodes with your caravan. Can that caravan be attacked multiple times? Or can it only be attacked once regardless of the distance that you're traveling? Yeah, exactly. Is there going to be a cooldown? So if you lose 30%, say, of your contents to go to your defenders, then if you get attacked multiple times, then even though you've won all of those, right, you successfully get to wherever you're going, you potentially could have lost more of your contents than if you had lost the caravan in total. So there's a complexity to this system that I'm not even sure they've fully determined yet. And it sounds like in this answer that Steven's giving that's exactly where they're at, right? They're at the same point with the same questions that I'm asking now. And I don't think they fully know what they want to do yet. And again, a part of the whole development is that's why I think they're so behind, right? They're, or not so behind, but I think they are more behind than they are suggesting. Because this is a tough question. This isn't an easy one. And I'm sure at some point this will probably become one of their developer discussions, because there is a complexity here. Yeah, talking in circles. Well, again, there's a lot to talk about, right? Like if you just give a badge that you can go exchange for loot, then you're artificially creating loot, right? That then that person goes and sells on the auction house, which then depresses prices, right? Because now more of this particular kind of loot is available than was otherwise naturally available. So if you want a player-driven economy, you can't do that, right? But at the same time, it is a way to maybe artificially control the economy, because they can tweak what those rewards are depending on how the economy is going. That dev is also a politician. No, as far as I know, Steven is not. I've tried to learn as much as I can about Steven, and politics is definitely something that I don't believe he's really has any interest in. He's just trying to sell a game, and he's trying to sell ideas for the game. And I think, like any of us, I think, we have a really good, fun idea, and we think we have most of it figured out in our heads. And then so we start to act on that idea. But then through acting on that idea, we start realizing other possibilities, or other people start asking us, right? Or start challenging those ideas, saying, well, what if this? What if that? And you're going, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. And so it does slow down the process. And that's what happens when you have a game that you kind of start with yourself and a small group of people, and then you have a community that's constantly growing, constantly expanding. You're going to have new ideas. And this is why I kind of get upset that there are so many white knights who try to quash conversation on their forums, because, well, we've had this conversation 20 times. It's like, yeah, okay, great. You had it 20 times, but you had it 20 times when you had 100 people here, right? Or you had it 10 times when you had 1,000 people here. But now you got like thousands of people here with different perspectives and ideas, and they're going to have a different take on nuance. And so I think to come in and try and crush those people is unfair. And I think it really hurts the potential of the game, because you could be missing a little nuance, right? And that could end up being exploited in the game. And then these white knights are often the first people that rage at the developers. I see that all the time, right? Oh, I supported you, I gave you all this money, and then now look, you completely butchered the game, and blah blah blah. And you guys are, it's just like, dude, like, chill. Like, you caused this in the first place a lot of the time. Now, you make a good point, especially if the developers are listening to these convos. It's good that they're taking place. Absolutely, absolutely, and I hope they are. I hope they are listening. I hope they are paying attention. Not like just to what I'm saying, but yeah, it just kind of in general, right? Like, I kind of hope that they kind of do, right? They do have their dev discussions. A few of their dev discussions have been inspired by comments to their videos. So I do give them credit for that. They do seem to listen. The limited interactions I've had, as far as just speaking with Margaret, there does seem to be, there is an effort that is out there that is being made. So I think they do deserve some credit for that. And yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. Anyways, continue. I was wanting to try and keep this like at 3 hours, because normally I do a lot of interjecting and stuff. The last couple of videos I haven't, but it's kind of getting to that point where I think they just need to come out and say, we're calling this an Alpha 1, but as far as like an Alpha 1 traditionally goes, we're not quite there yet. And in this particular video, I think we've heard that stated, not directly, but I think indirectly by Margaret and Jeff, that has been stated a couple of different times, and that's good. I think they need more of that, because sadly, I think the expectation in a lot of the community is that this game is far closer to launch than it really is. Like, I even believed that this game could have potentially have been launched next year. That started, I came into this game in June. That changed by September, right? Because I watched the Lazy Peon video. I watched a couple of other content creator videos, and their impression of this game is that it is much further along in development than it really is. And once I kind of really started diving in, watching all of their videos, reading a bunch of stuff, I had to come to the conclusion that this game it's still a couple of years out. And again, I don't have a problem with that. Take the time that you need. My only issue is they're not coming out and directly saying they need that time. And I think with the huge influx of people that have come in the last 6 months, they might be afraid to say that, right? Because that can hurt the game, because a lot of people think that they are far closer than they really are.
It is, and actually attracting players to.
But yeah, their outfits do look really good.
Just one-sided, so to speak.
But again, their graphics have always been really
also,
well done.
The hope would be that the people who are running the caravans can offer their own rewards, right? That, hey, if you come help me defend this thing, I'll give you some cut.
Yeah, and
these are my friends, or
that's just what I was talking about.
A lot of the sort of incentive is social.
Yeah, he's got the mask. Yeah, he's got the plague doctor's mask. There's a whole outfit, actually. Yeah, it's like the Jon Snow cape. Like, it's all black and feathered.
Because your freehold is in the same node, So I think that can also be something. And again, it goes back to your point, Jeff, of it being a social experience.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that is going to be it for our Q&A segment as well. And that means we're wrapping up. We hope that you had... Oh, go ahead.
Before we get into the wrap-up real quick, I just want to remind everybody that we are still in a hiring phase, a very large one, and you guys can do the project a whole heap of help by getting on social media and tagging people that you respect and love in the industry and letting them know about the project, spreading the word for Ashes of Creation. This helps us to get good applicants, to bring veterans on board the project. Don't be shy. If you're liking what you see and you're with us in a supportive way for the team and the project, you guys going out there and being a megaphone is something that is really a huge help. So I would charge you with that task if you're a follower and a lover.
Unfortunately, it's not something you can get
to get out there and help us in that regard.
Yeah, we post on all of our social channels.
But
we post little hiring blurbs.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of their
send a link to somebody that you know.
Monthly deals that
all of those places.
Yes.
Was in the past.
To share,
but there will be.
I know it's an interesting thing.
Alternate versions of them in the game.
I'm unabashed in this request. I think you can be an AoC evangelist without being a hype man or woman. I don't like hype, but I do like participation. I do like feedback. I do like revealing what we're working on. And if that excites you, that's great. It doesn't have to be a hype megaphone. It just has to be an awareness megaphone. Get out there and let people know. What we're doing and what our game philosophy is and the progress we've made. It's all very helpful to the project and the team.
And we try to set expectations with what we're saying, right? Like, before we played the video, Steven was very apparent that, like, this is a development journey and progress. There's going to be updates and changes, so what you see here is not going to be the end product.
Yep.
All right, with that, just a few reminders. We do have a new dev discussion coming and a new guild gathering discussion. We would love for you to partake in those. That's going to help us immensely on...
So it's basically just, they're just doing some housekeeping here. Don't really need to cover that, because I don't need to react to it. So yes, it's a little longer of a reaction video than I've done normally. Mind you, there's some that go on for many hours. Again, the game looks phenomenal, but is there anything in this update that we can take away from previous updates and say, wow? No, there's nothing here. Hey there, Mr. Yoda.
Seek Yoda.
There's nothing in this update that really screams progress. There's some nice design stuff. We get to see more environment as normal. I want to see more of the systems. I want to hear more talk. We don't need to have all of this art shown all the time. I would like to actually see them have a discussion about how do they see the caravan system working. I would like to see them have a discussion about how do they see the corruption system working. An actual discussion, right? Like, maybe a debate. I'd like to see them maybe cover some forum, discussions that are on their own forums that are based on some of these things. I think Steven and Jeff do have some, and Margaret, I think they do all have a different take or understanding on what they would maybe like to see at different systems working. If I could make one great suggestion that I think would make these updates more community friendly, go back to how you did them in the first place, right? Where you pick a creator, it doesn't, pick a creator, right? Just put names in a hat. It doesn't matter the size of their channel, their stream, and say, hey, listen, we're going to give you 15 minutes to ask as many questions as you can in that 15 minutes about the game, or you have 15 minutes to just have a conversation with us. It could be questions. It could just be, just gushing and complimenting them. It could be having, maybe a conversation or a debate about a system, right? But bring in the community and start with your content creators, because, and I'm not saying me, I mean, I'm not a big content creator. I'm a nobody. I don't think I would ever make it into their official content creator thing, because I'm sure it's going to be a popularity game. And, Ash has been around for long enough that for somebody new to come along and strike it big is not going to be an easy thing. And right now, there's just not enough content that I think is worthy to really get into without really detracting from, I think, what they're trying to do. Because, again, they're not even sure how some of their systems are going to work yet, and their core systems, right? Like, this is stuff that ideally, if they were going into an honest and true Alpha 1, they should have some firm grasp of where they're at. And currently, I don't think they're there yet. I think they're still trying to make just the basic ideas work with the game engine and the programming and stuff like that. Once they kind of get the core programming done, I think then they can start figuring out the flavor, right? The additional text. But right now, they're just trying to bind it all together so it sticks and it works. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just giving my opinion. That's what these reactions are. It's just giving it an opinion. And I don't know everything. I don't know. I'm sure they are probably further along than they are showing us. One of the things in development that happens a lot is sometimes you'll take 2 or 3 steps forward and then you have to walk it back. And so you don't always show exactly where you're at, because sometimes you have to take those step backs. And I think they learned from Apocalypse that they're going to have to leave themselves that breathing room. I still don't think Ashes is Alpha 1 ready. And yeah, and then of course, like I said, there's the comments I opened the video with, which will be part of the full video, which will be made available to my subscribers and subscribe stars as bonus content. Otherwise, if you are watching this on YouTube, you're going to get mostly this reaction to the video itself, and there'll be some stuff that'll be probably cut out and saved for subscribers because they're supporting me and what I'm doing, and I feel that they do deserve a little extra. And some of the comments, might otherwise be taken the wrong way as well, and or they could just be taken on their face. But I just feel that they're probably better, with people that have a better understanding of the community and stuff like that. And I don't want, a lot of comments to really take away. Because I realize some of what I'm saying to the wrong people or to the fanboys, the White Knights can come off as I hate the game or something like that, and I don't. Again, they claim to be the most open and transparent, but there's a lot of NDAs and there's a lot of obfuscation. But at least in this video, we actually got to hear Jeff and Margaret kind of contradict Steven a little bit as far as Steven's trying to present this game being at a certain point in development, and they're like, no, lots more updates to come, long road ahead. And that's their way of saying, like, we are nowhere near where I think a lot of people would like this game to be today. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they are not communicating as openly and effectively as I think they believe that they are. And I think I think they're starting to realize that. And that's why we're starting to hear them have these comments about, no, we have a long way to go and lots and lots and lots more updates to come and stuff like that. That's their way of trying to, I guess, numb the pain, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to be really upset when they realize that 2021 is not going to be the release year of Ashes of Creation. I would say 2022 Q4 at the earliest. But I think they have 2 to 3 years before they kind of get to that point. And I think that's primarily because the complexity of what they're trying to do with all of these different systems and trying to program and tie them in with a game engine that is not designed for an MMO. And it's not only just an MMO, but they want to try and have an MMO with like 1,000 people in the same place. Right? Like that's ultimately, I think, and they've said, like, in-house in their testing, they feel very confident that they can do that. That was a few videos ago. I think it was a video last year where they showed all the little red men running around and stuff like that. And they said, like, we think this is possible. We think we can make this happen. But in order to do that, right, they got to marry Unreal Engine and their code and get that to kind of work together. And that's not always going to happen. They're going to update Unreal Engine, and then that's going to break something, right? It's going to shear off, and then they got to put it back together and figure out those little bugs, and it's going to create bugs and issues. And then, like I said, they're going to have all of these systems working independently in the game, and then they got to figure out, after these systems are working independently in their environment, how are these things going to marry to each other, right? How are they going to go from, okay, systems work, how do we make them work together without constantly bugging and breaking and stuff like that? So I think they can do it. It looks like they have a really good staff. They have, it sounds like they got really good, competent people. A lot of the systems that they're wanting to put into the game are based on other games, and they have people that actually worked on those games working for them. So they are intimately aware of how did they make that work in Lineage or ArcAge or whatever, right? So that is going to hopefully save them a lot of time and energy and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to that. So otherwise, I think I'm going to wrap things up here. And, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, if you're watching this anywhere other than Twitch, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Like I said, I will contact one random person who comments to this video on YouTube. And I will send them a face mask, an Ashes of Creation themed Phoenix Radio face mask in white, as a show of appreciation, because as far as I know, I'm the only content creator giving away any kind of Ashes of Creation themed merch, and I have 2 masks that, gotta do something with them. I bought them. Might as well give them away. So thank you guys so very much. I am Beck Altar. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you again.